history isn't just what happened, it's who we are. And now you can explore Africa's incredible past like never before. Introducing the new and engaging course catalog from aelearning.net, a world-class provider of interactive e-learning focused on Africa's rich and diverse history. From the rise of ancient Nubia and the power of the Mali Empire, to the architectural wonders of Egypt and the development of astrological knowledge by the Dogon people, each self-paced course brings history to life through stunning visuals, immersive video lessons, and interactive assessments. Designed for students, educators, and lifelong learners around the world, AE Learning's courses make discovering Africa's story easier, deeper, and more engaging than ever. With AE Learning, education meets flexibility. Whether you're a student, teacher, or lifelong learner, our platform gives you access to credible knowledge, rich multimedia lessons, and tools that make learning African history engaging and unforgettable. Join thousands of learners already rediscovering Africa's past and shaping its future. Visit www.aelearning.net today. Start your journey through Africa's past today, because the story of Africa is the story of us all. AE Learning, inspiration through high-quality education.
Danfo offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshe traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo.africa. To learn more, visit Danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Who. Thank you all. Thanks so much for joining. Hit that like button and please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe, y'all. I greatly appreciate it. Everyone, thank you so much for the birthday wishes from yesterday. I am 44 now. I am 44 years old. I guess I am officially Unc status. I guess I am officially Unc status. So it's Uncle Dynast, okay? It is Uncle Dynast. But yeah, but we're going to get into the topic here shortly with Julius Malema, because this is interesting. I mean, the way Julius Malema speaks, I'm surprised he showed up to court. Again, the way he speaks and, kill the boar and, he runs South. Well, he don't run South Africa, but I mean, how bold he is and loud. And I like Julius Malema. I have no problem with Julius Malema. But I'm just surprised that he even showed up to court. I would think he'll be like, forget that. I ain't coming to court. But we'll get into what happened here shortly. But hit the like button and please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I know Elon Musk is probably having a field day about this. In fact, do you think Elon Musk has anything to do? Because Elon Musk can't stand Julius Malema or Donald Trump. They can't stand Julius Malema. So do you think he by a chance might have had something to do with what happened? Because I mean he can't stand Julius Malema. You know, like Elon Musk is out here acting like, the Afrikaners, that they're the victims. And I'm like, come on, man. You guys had the apartheid system. And now that the local, the South Africans, the blacks have actual equity now in the country, all of a sudden, they feel oppressed, which is laughable. Even this whole refugee Afrikaners seeking refugee status in America, that was laughable. That was hilarious, actually. But yeah, again, the way Julius Malema talks, how loud he is, how militant he is, how he's ready to go to war at any time. I'm shocked he even showed up to the court case. Before we get to that, listen, we're going to Senegal next month, May 9th through the 18th. May 9th through the 18th. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo, that's Danfo.Africa. Again, please visit Danfo, that's Danfo.Africa to learn more. Again, we are rolling to Senegal, May 9th through the 18th. Absolutely looking forward to that. Cannot wait. We are going to have an awesome time in Senegal. Best food in Africa, if you ask me. Again, Senegal has the best food in Africa. If you ask me, the best, absolutely the best jollof, best food. I love Senegal. The culture. Senegal is a beautiful place. I love Senegal. It depends on which day of the week. Malema walks free, no jail appeal pending. Well, we'll see. But that's going to be interesting, and I just wonder how that's going to affect South Africa's future, because Malema represented the struggle, and well, not necessarily the struggle. I guess you could say the struggle, but the resistance. He represented the resistance and fighting back, and he wanted to get rid of the Gumtas. So it's going to be interesting to see how this affects South Africa's future and South African politics. But he got arrested, from my understanding, for a gun charge. I guess he discharged a gun at a rally. So I think that's what happened. He discharged a gun at a rally, and they want to lock his ass up for it. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So that's what's going on. There again, we're going Senegal May, Nigeria in August, Zanzibar in September, Namibia and South Africa. I'm sorry, Ivory Coast and Ghana in November, and Sierra Leone in November as well. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo, that's Danfo.Africa. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo, that's Danfo.Africa to learn more. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Julius Malema, sentenced 5 years. I don't know exactly what happened. I just know he discharged a gun, at a rally he was at, and I guess they're not playing that in South Africa. So he got 5 years. Now, is he gonna serve those 5 years? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here's him actually doing it. I mean, come on.
Do
At least
not get a consolidation loan until you see this.
guys, don't get a
Mario
consolidation
Lopez here.
loan
If
until
you're
you see
thinking
this.
about getting a consolidation loan to combine your credit card debts or
following
Come on, man. Come on, Julius. Come on, man. You can't do that. You know, Julius, you can't do that. Come on, Julius, you can't do that, man. Come on, man. Well, that's not an AK-47. That's let me go back to what kind of gun is that? It's not an AK-47. I don't think that's an AK-47.
following ruling is made with regards to the application. With regards to the decision with regards to conviction, this court abides by its decision as stated on record. This court has not had a change of heart and clearly stands firm on its decision to convict. Therefore, leave to appeal in respect of conviction is not granted. I've not finished, please. However, with regards to sentence, after listening carefully to the address placed on record, in respect of sentence, there is always a possibility that another court may come to a different conclusion regarding sentence. Therefore, this court does not have any intention to stand in the way of such a possibility. Safe to say, no, I'm not going to add that. The court will not stand in the way, and therefore leave to appeal sentence in this matter is granted.
So today, the proceedings were the last day in this particular court, with the magistrate granting them a leave to appeal a sentence, but refused or dismissed their application to appeal for a conviction. And of course, there was a commotion inside between the AfriForum and members or leaders of the EFF, because we must remember.
Okay, now AfriForum, that's the white, like the white supremacy group, the white supremacist group in South Africa, or like the pro-apartheid group. Is that AfriForum?
Remember that AfriForum was or is the complainant in this particular case. Malema went outside the court, addressed the supporters.
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying AfriForum, they're the ones that brought up the guys? Help me out. So AfriForum, they said they're the complainants in the case. So they actually filed. I'm confused now. So AfriForum, they're the ones that they're the complainant in the case. So this is civil. It's like this is civil case. Well, it can't be a civil case because he got jail time. I need answers now. So AfriForum filed, but how could they do that and this not be considered a civil case? Because how were they affected? Did he shoot at them specifically? Why didn't the state or the government bring up charges or post a link? Yeah, somebody has to explain this to me. This is crazy. Yeah, so AfriForum, a pro-apartheid group, has the power to put Julius Malema in jail. Oh wow! All right, guys, links in the chat room. Call in. Somebody break how did this happen? But links in the chat room. Let's continue. This is interesting.
Of course, the first thing was to accuse the magistrate of racism.
Magistrate Oliver is a racist of note, and she must know that in her sleep, that she's a racist and she's possibly a member of AfriForum.
And then calling or announcing that they are going to report the magistrate to the magistrate commission, accusing her of bias, accusing her of not reading, of not properly reading her judgments.
We are going to appeal this matter. We are going to make sure we go to Grahamstown and we are going to dismiss a judgment which was poorly read and which was poorly written. She has granted us leave for appeal on sentencing and refused to give us leave to appeal on conviction. We must petition the High Court to appeal the guilt verdict and the sentencing itself.
There is an appeal, because they've been granted an appeal to go to Makanda High Court. Their leadership is already there, like the deputy president of the EFF, Mr. Gojrit Gade, is there with papers to make sure that they appeal the sentence. So that's where we are right now, and with the EFF, I mean with the leadership of Malema, taking an opportunity to campaign and calling on EFF supporters to vote the.
Hold on, a rally took place in 2018. Wouldn't there be, unless somebody got shot and killed, wouldn't that exceed the statute of limitations? We're almost done with this. I'm gonna bring Elvis on.
See out of government in the Eastern Cape.
All right, go ahead, Elvis.
All right, thank you, Dinus. Hello to you in the chat, and happy belated birthday. I'll send you a little chat, super chat later. Look,
no, Elvis. You know what? That's fine, but Cash App preferably.
Oh, Cash App, okay.
But go ahead. Thank you. But thank you. I appreciate it. Either way, it's all a blessing. Count it all joy. Go ahead.
I hear people acting stupid in the chat and saying nonsense. You have to understand that the current predicament of South Africa, even in history in recent times, they have a high gun violence rate. A lot of kidnappings, a lot of robbery, a lot of murders. So these laws are put in place as a deterrent to those who will be criminals, right? And Julius Malema, like you said, as a leader of the opposition, as somebody who is an important political figure in the country, you can't be doing stupid shit like that and think that you're going to get away with it. So the point here is that he discharged a firearm, which is highly illegal in South Africa, especially in a public place.
There is no evidence of that. There is no evidence of that.
Dinah just played the video. Dinah, did you not play the video?
I just played the video.
Darius, the said firearm did not fire. Nobody can prove. Nobody can prove.
I'm coming, Mr. Jamaican man. I'll give you the mic. Let me finish.
Let
no. All right. Okay.
No, you're gonna have your time. Don't interrupt Elvis. Let Elvis finish. Okay.
Yeah, we all like Juju, as they affectionately call him in South Africa. We like him. We like his fiery, speeches that he gives against the Boers, against the land, the Guptas. I think he might have succeeded in kind of getting the Guptas out of there. But my point here is, you have to be smart. Simply being a big political figure doesn't, inculcate you from facing the weight of the law if you break the law. And yes, that group is a racist group, but as South Africa is now a multicultural, multiracial society, it would be hypocritical of the Black African government, the ANC, to see a political leader who is African, Black African, blatantly, break the law and show favoritism by not prosecuting him. Now, I think the sentence is excessive. I think if it was someone who was a criminal, that 5-year sentence would be just, but I don't think Malema has a criminal record. I know he did some things when he was in the youth wing of the ANC. I don't know if that, that played a part, but I think the sentence is excessive. Maybe 5 years is way too much. Maybe probation, or maybe 6 months served and maybe some probation is probably the right sentence. So perhaps he would probably win the sentence, length, or maybe shorten the length of the sentence in the appeal. But to say that he wasn't guilty and somebody coming here to say our eyes were lying to us, or our ears were lying to us, that's the thing about Africa. We like the guy, but we can't defend illegality. What he did was illegal, and he had to be prosecuted. If a white person did that, all Black South Africans, especially a white political leader, would be clamoring for that person to be prosecuted. And then his rhetoric, why many of us Africans and people who admire him like the rhetoric, it is I hate to say insightful, but he's more aggressive in his rhetoric. So there's some people in the country who are quote unquote afraid, whether it's legitimate or just using it for political reasons, that violence could break out based on the rhetoric that he was spreading. And then you go out there, you take a semi-auto rifle and you shoot it in the air, boop, 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 showing that, hinting that you're ready for war, so to speak, right? It's a stupid thing to do. So nobody can really defend the action of Malema. Maybe the sentence you can argue was excessive. But I pass the mic to the brother. Let him have his turn.
Oh, go ahead, Baba.
Yeah, this was a case that was since, because I was in South Africa. This was a case since in 2018. It was a long years ago.
Yeah, right.
They was trying to prove that it was a real gun that they fired in the air. They couldn't prove it. That's what was the evidence. I was there when all this was going on. They say it was a toy gun. His bodyguard bring the gun for him, and his white. And let me tell you the whole rundown to this commentator so you can understand it clearly. His bodyguard, which is a white guy, brought him the gun on the stage, and he said it was a toy gun. Now his bodyguard who brought him the gun didn't face no charges at all, not one charge stick on the white guy. But Julius Malema somehow get that charge to stick on him. And they couldn't prove that the gun was real or not. They couldn't prove it. They couldn't prove he fired the shot in the air. Alpha Forum was the ones, those racist bastards, was the one who went and brought up the charge and went in court and do all these nonsense.
Yeah, but how can a private individual who wasn't there, I don't know how they were, but Bob, you got a lot of background noise, Baba Liko. Who wasn't who weren't affected by it. How can they go bring up charges after forum? That's why I'm confused.
But that's what I'm saying. They does that all the time. It had charges before when Malema had hitting a police officer woman. He had charges with that. With they keep going. They wanted to get Julius Malema for the longest because he speaks the truth. That's what goes on in South Africa. Remember, Julius Malema used to be with the ANC. He used to be rolling with the ANC. He was the lead, one of the guys that used to run for the kids all the time for the ANC. You understand? But he and Zuma and them couldn't see eye to eye, so he left. He break away and joined EFF, made his own EFF. That's what happened there. So since from there, they didn't want to take the land back. You remember, it's all about the land. ANC. Mandela came out of jail after 27 years. He made deals with those people. He never took the land back. So that's what we was talking. That's why I was saying Abraham Troy is talking about democracy. He's right. Like you say, oh, it's democracy now. Malema is out of jail. You will think South Africans will get their land back. Up to this day, 90 or 80, somewhere between 80 and 90% of white South Africans own majority of 80 or 90% of the land, which is crazy. You understand? So he's been fighting for that for years. So anything Malema do or say, they're trying to stick something on him. They're trying to pin something on him. And you remember, the leading party, ANC, they're in the pockets of the whites. They're not going to do nothing. They are joining forces with the DA. The DA is the Democratic Alliance. Is a white side in South Africa. They're in Cape Town. Go and ask the black Cape Towns over there how they're being treated. You understand? So what I'm saying is he's been fighting for a long time. They couldn't prove. Listen, if you couldn't prove the gun was real, or you couldn't prove that he fired it, how did he get charges? How his own bodyguard, his own white bodyguard who gave him the gun, didn't get no charges. It's all the case should have been thrown out. It should have been thrown out.
I have a couple questions, if you don't mind, brother.
Go ahead.
All right. So I agree with everything you said in terms of the land and South Africa reclaiming those lands. But the question is, the South African people, I don't know if you're South African, you have an accent that sounds Southern African, but the South African people have had opportunities to put somebody like Malema there. In the last election cycle, I think even Joseph Zuma, who was disgraced and forced to resign, got more votes than the EFCC, right? Or the the Economic Freedom Fighters.
Yeah, the EFF. Economic Freedom
Right.
Fighters.
He got more votes than those guys. What's the turnoff from the regular South African from voting for the EFF in droves?
They don't vote. Let me tell you, they didn't vote for Malema. Let me tell you, you will laugh. A lot of these South Africans, they hate Zimbabweans. They hate, but Malema been fighting against xenophobia for the longest, saying, yo, that's your brothers. Why y'all beating these Zimbabweans up and kicking them, telling them go back to their homeland? They are your brothers. He lost a lot of votes for that. And this is a fact. Anybody can come on and tell me I lie here. Nobody. This is a fact. They hate South Africans. Not a majority of them. Not all of them, but majority, they hate Africans. They had this Dodula movement and all this movement that these Zimbabwe selling on the streets, the little food, goods. I was there. I saw it. They ransack all the mango, throw it all on the ground. Tell them, go back. Y'all don't belong here. Meanwhile, they got Arabs. They got Arabs that got stores in South Africa. They don't do that to them. They got all type of people, Muslims, all type of people from all over. They got stores there, Indians. They don't do that to them, but they do that to the blacks, Zimbabweans. I never went back there after when the year was there, 2020. I find it was disgusting the way how these South Africans was acting. You understand? Because I was one of them it have a guy online that was a comment named King Say So. I was one of his big supporter. I used to send money because he was building a school, Paseta. So I was one of them who's cheering for Malema, but because of that, he lost a lot of votes. And that's why they have the Patriotic Alliance, all these guys who was, they call themselves colored. And this is the next nonsense in South Africa. They call themselves, like if you're white and you have a white father or a black mother or a black mother and a white father, they call themselves coloreds.
Yeah, so let me say this, right? Mm-hmm. So for the South Africans, so in your estimation, it's more important to them to practice xenophobia than to take tangible actions that would lead to them reclaiming their land.
Yes, and that's what they're doing. And remember, Zimbabwe helped South Africa in the apartheid days. Zimbabweans helped them in those days. So I was very shocked to see the behavior these South Africans was behaving towards these Zimbabweans. You know what I'm saying? Go back home and trying to lock all the borders. And they had Patriot Alliance running on by the border saying, it have a word they use. And it was very disgusting, man. And I was like, they was like, Malema, we're not going to vote for you because of that. But guess what? They still have this tribal behavior because Zuma is a, what you call it? And in that district, I forget, my brains be locking up. And he got like 40-some% of the vote there because he's
what is it? Is it KwaZulu Natal? That's where he's from?
Yes. You're right. KwaZulu Natal, and he got majority of the votes there. So you said Zuma got more votes than EFF, but it's only in that district because KwaZulu Natal, they get like the majority of the votes there.
Yeah, but nationally, he got like second next to the ANC, which is crazy.
He got 14. He got around 14-point-something%. EFF got 9%, and then it dropped. He took a lot of the votes away from the ANCs, so the ANC dropped down to 40%. So when the ANC dropped, they needed 50% to govern, and guess who they went with?
The DA. I know they had a
Democratic Alliance. They went with the whites in Cape Town. And Patriotic Alliance, the coloreds that hates Zimbabweans. So that's why Malema is getting a fight there. Malema was the first person before Abraham Traore and Goita. Malema was the first person I ever heard say, let's nationalize mines and banks. Stop have these people coming and controlling our. And people used to say, Malema talking garbage. He don't know what he's saying. But he was the first person to say that. on record, let's nationalize our banks and mines, which is working perfectly, which it should have been done. But the ANC is under Ramaphosa talks a big game. He's like the president of Ghana. They talk big, but they does nothing behind it. They ain't got no backbone. They just talk big, and a lot of people eat them up, and they don't do nothing behind it. Ramaphosa talk all this. Remember when Ramaphosa came to New York, he said, in Washington, he sat down with Trump and was playing the video of Malema jumping up saying, kill the Boer, kill the farmer. And Donald Trump asked Ramaphosa, why you didn't arrest? So all of this is they've been trying to arrest him for a long time. Donald Trump told Ramaphosa, why you don't arrest this guy who's jumping up saying, kill the farmer, kill the Boer?
Okay, one second, please. Hey, Donis, I send you a cash app. I hope you got it. And
I was gonna say thank you here. In fact, I'll go ahead and do it now. Shout out to Elvis for the $40 holla for my birthday cash app, and then also shout out to Terrence Mills for the $10 holla. I appreciate you. All right, go ahead.
I got you. Can you please play that video again, because everybody didn't see the videos, and we can make they can make a judgment for themselves.
Okay, go ahead, Bob. I'll play it here.
So Donald Trump been asking to arrest this guy for the longest, and Ramaphosa was like, "Oh, we can't arrest him just like that." Donald Trump was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Oh, we got free speech in South Africa. We got free speech, you know." And so from that, they've been trying to arrest him because the guy talks the truth. The guy's been talking about taking back the land. Do you know Malema took back some of the land from those whites and told them, "Yo, you got to share these lands. These people got to share," and took some of the farmers, give some of the land back under the EFF to help some of them blacks. And EFF built them house, built Granny's house. He built a Zimbabwean woman a house as well. And he was crucified for that in South Africa. So that's why Malema will never get to be president in South Africa, because it's a big hatred against people from Zambia and Nigeria. The South Africans have this hatred over there, and that's the thing. To me, when you live amongst a lot of these colonizers, you got to be very careful, because they're going to give you jobs, they're going to set you up on farms, and then they're going to brainwash you. A lot of these people, they're brainwashed. You understand? They're brainwashed, and that's the problem in South Africa. So that's the big problem with Malema and the EFF. And Zuma, he's not gonna remember. Zuma was president, right? And remember, he had the corruption with those Indian guys from doing that corruption, and he was kicked out. And then
the
Guptas, right? So he's not. What is Zuma's gonna do? I thought Zuma was gonna link up with Malema, and two of them would have go against the ANC, but that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole issues there. That's why Malema doesn't get a lot of.
Everybody's asking what is Malema accused of. That's why I want Donis to play that video. That's what he was accused.
Let me play the video again right now. Then I got to pass the mic to Niger. Give me 1 second. Let me share the screen. All right. So this is Julius Malema. Hold on. Let me. All right. Here we go.
Following ruling
let me run it back again.
regards to the application. Following
all right, so Bobby, your theory is that those were blanks he was shooting?
That's what they said. They gotta prove it. I mean, it could be real bullets, it could be real gun, but what I'm saying, you Julius, you gotta prove these things, right? They had nobody to prove it. They brought the gun, and the gun they told them to bring was a toy gun. So they was like, well, is this the real gun? There was like, this is the real gun. So there was like, it was a toy gun. So they couldn't prove it. They asked the bodyguard, you show right there where Julius Malema was shooting the gun. You didn't show way back when the white bodyguard came and gave it to him. So he was cleared of all charges, and he's saying it was a toy gun. So if he was cleared, how come Julius Malema wasn't cleared?
Malema has a white bodyguard talking all that junk. Come on, man.
So what? So what? You have a white bodyguard.
I mean, you got the enemy protecting your back. Come on, bro. Come on.
But that's what I'm saying. That's to even show you how the court system is. He have a white bodyguard, and the white bodyguard get away, and he didn't get away. So that's what I'm trying to show you guys. That's why sometimes
But
some of you guys
that's not a toy gun sound, man. We know gun sound unless it's edited afterwards to sound like a real
yeah,
gun.
but
It's
then
not
you
a
got to
toy
show the
gun.
proof. You got to show the proof for
Yeah,
the
you
gun.
got to like ballistics and all that. Let me pass the mic
Yeah.
to Nigel. Go ahead, to Nigel.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Diners. Greetings to all the panelists, chat, and the viewers. I gathered that in South Africa, discharging firearm in public is, it can be a fine. They can issue you fine or up to 15 years in jail. And this is an event that occurred around 2018. So I'm a bit surprised for someone of his caliber to be given 5 years. And from what I gathered too, he has the right to appeal, which he has already done. And this could go on for years again. I would say for somebody as important as he is, he shouldn't have put himself in that position. He knows they want him. They are targeting, looking for every excuse to, nail him somehow. But then again, if they truly want to nail you, no matter what you do, they will find something on you. So from that point of view, you can argue that there's no win. However, his politics, I find his politics a little bit uncomfortable because a lot of Africans, the mistake we make is that we are in democratic capitalist systems and we are advocating for socialist systems. We forget that the socialist homeland of the Soviet Union is gone and you don't have a power base. So I don't understand why we still remain fighting for socialism when you could advocate capitalist policies that could also favor your own people. And then you don't put the crosshairs over your people's head. Look at Nigeria now. There's for a long time, a lot of people have been arguing the way Malema is arguing for socialist kind of revolution. All the opposition people, they tend to be socialist sympathizers. But who is currently holding the Nigerian economy up? Is it not Dangote that is a capitalist? Capitalist systems have ways of operating. And I think we as a people on the continent have to learn that. Because the Chinese, they realize that too. Well, they are communists, but they decide to embrace the capitalist market system when it comes to enriching themselves. You have to look at the system that is existing in the world and try to tailor your policies towards that. Instead of hacking back continuously, wearing all this red stuff. I like his ideals. I like the fact that he's fighting for the continent. But the economic policy is flawed. Instead of him arguing for South Africa to shift to nationalism, maybe he should be arguing for those companies to be divested to Black South Africans, because most of their country right now the economy is mostly controlled by Europeans. And this nonsense about rainbow nation that they call themselves, do you know if you take the population of Black South Africans and include the mixed ones, whom would be considered Black outside South Africa, they're about 94, 93% of the population. Do you know the UK where I sit, you have about 80% European population, 85% European population. They don't call themselves Rainbow Nation. Many Western European countries don't call themselves Rainbow Nation, even if they have more than 10% non-European populations. So it's about Black South Africans. They've gotten themselves to this state whereby, I don't know whether it's inferiority complex or brainwashing of the elite, that they hate their own fellow Africans after their own people.
I just want to give Danny some breaking news. Perhaps he heard his news that happened today or this week. Kemi Seba was arrested in South Africa, right?
Whoa, hold on, slow down. I had no clue.
Yeah, I think they said he got arrested on Monday, but it just came out on BBC. And they said because he's been making anti-French, rhetoric against Benin and France. So he might be deported to Benin and be prosecuted. He just got arrested.
If he gets deported to Benin, he's going to jail. Damn,
yeah, so I just want to say that. Go ahead, Tunaja.
I have no clue. Go ahead.
So just for making comments, they arrest you for that. Wow. Okay. So
That's
my take is that Black South Africans, they really need to get their act together, because the way they target their own people, they don't seem to understand. They target more Black people than they will ever target the white Europeans. Just yesterday, I heard that they hunt some Black people in that country again. A white man burnt some Black people and thought that they were dogs. It's like, and nothing happens. They will just say, "Oh, we are looking forward to going to court with the man." But when it's a Black person, they lose their mind, And I've seen Indians in that country carry guns publicly when the Black people armed. I've seen it on the internet, but nothing happens to them. But the Black South Africans, I don't even understand it. because I don't think African Americans will take some of the nonsense that the Black South Africans are taking in that country, and they are the majority. So for the life of me, I just hope that sooner or later the white people will do something, they will overreach, and then the black population will react. But I really think that the way this pan-Africanist movement embrace socialist policies is not the wisest thing. Why do you care about economic policy? Why do you care about religion or ethnicity? Worry about what works. Because if you do that, you are likely to tailor yourself to what is going to lead to progress for your people. Because this embrace of socialism makes them a target to the West constantly. They keep targeting them in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Ghana, everywhere they go, they keep targeting. That's why they hated Kwame Nkrumah, because Kwame Nkrumah was embracing socialism. When you know, capitalist systems are extremely powerful too. If you look at what Japan did, it was capitalism that made Japan so powerful before the Second World War, because capitalists can create industrial systems that enrich nations greatly. As a matter of fact, enrich nations maybe even more than the socialist or this in the communist systems. So I don't understand why we just remain headstrong and remain socialistic. And some of them even argue that that's how Africans were. I don't know where you got that one from. Who told you that Africans were socialists by nature? We've always been capitalists. The whole world has always been capitalist. So I will just leave it at that. I hope he doesn't go to prison. And if he does, you know, South Africans, they are quite strict. What's his name? Zuma went to prison too. So he's not the first person to go to prison as a top black South African. But let's hope he doesn't go to prison for just discharging weapons in public, and he's able to carry on his struggle. If he goes to prison, what is the worst that can happen? He might come out even becoming more popular, just the way Mandela was popular. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Hi, Dennis. I'm here, you know.
Diners might be in the back, but you can go ahead, V. I think it's your time.
Oh, okay. Anyway, hello to you all. Regarding this Malema thing, I was very surprised. I just saw it and then finished reading of what's going on, and then I saw Diners was on, so I thought I'll come, and I heard you guys talking. I said I'll come on. Regarding Malema, what did it for him is the African unity thing that he's keep promoting, because a lot of his policies, I have a few South African friends that I speak with, and they said the only reason why people are not going to vote for him is the African unity thing. Now, it's easy and very simplistic when we come in and say, oh, well, South Africans are xenophobic, blah, blah, blah. The question is, what we have to understand is, after our independence, we all know what happened to the people that fought for the independence. The people that genuinely care about Africans and wanted to place Africa in a better position. People like Nkrumah. My father was a strong supporter of Nkrumah. You know, I wasn't around when he was even running the country, and then he got disposed of, say, coup through the military coup. Now, Nkrumah, why they hated Nkrumah wasn't so much he was a socialist. They hated him because Nkrumah was advocating for stronger African unity. And he was saying that if Africa do not come together, we'll be forever weakened. A lot of countries that were coming up, you know, we just had independence, and a lot of countries have just also been win themselves of independence. And many countries, especially within the Southern African region and places like Zimbabwe, were still under the colonial rule. And the reason Nkrumah was very forceful in it, from what I've read and what I've been told and what I've studied about him, it was very strong and forceful, that he wasn't even talking about African unity in terms of people just moving from one country to the other. He was talking about African unity in terms of...
Hey, guys, my bad. That was my mom who called, so I had to take that call. But go ahead. I'm here.
Okay. Sorry, I'm talking. Shall I continue then?
Yeah, go ahead and continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. He wasn't talking about just, you know, a free passport. People talk about Africa, free passport. That is not the issue. Such as coordinating our countries within ourselves and trade within ourselves. And they didn't like that. Because if we get our you know, we set up a good manufacturing system, we say refining our gold. It's only recently that places like Ghana, and even more recently, a place like Burkina, is refining our gold. And every time as a Ghanaian, when I hear people say, oh, Ghana is the second largest gold producer, I cringe and I weep inside me. It doesn't benefit anybody. right? They didn't like that. They didn't like the fact that Ghana wanted to process some of our cocoa. We were point blankly told by the European Union that if you produce some of this cocoa, refine them to a certain point, we just won't buy it. And even to a point that one of the rumors that we heard was even one of the minister from one certain populous country in Europe said, "You think we're going to let you do that to take jobs away from our people?" So this African government that they came after the independence, when they got rid of the ones that they really have, people like the Nkrumah mindset and Gamal in Egypt and Sekaturi and others, and those in the Southern African region, I've forgotten the name. What is the name? It will come to me. After they got rid of all of them, somehow brought in wars, brought in coup d'etat. Africa is one of the continents, if you take, I don't know, between Africa and Latin America, which one of these two continents that's had a lot of their leaders, especially nationalistic leaders, disposed of or deported or disposed of, coup d'etat or assassinated. I don't know which one, but they both will run very high. When they finished with those groups, they brought in, my father used to say to me, these are black faces, but they're colonialist in mind. That's the people that they want to rule Africa. And people like the guy sitting in South Africa, now he's one of them. He started off as a union man, very strong ANC man. And they sort of encouraged and tipped him, so one day he'll be a good leader. And look at him now. He's in bed with these people. He started off as a union.
Yes, you're right. Correct. Yes.
Yeah. He's now. He started off as a union man, but now he's filthy rich in South Africa. When after the apartheid system ended, and the Mandela, people accuse him of all sorts, but Mandela really did his best to push a lot of Africans, indigenous South Africans, forward to get into certain industries. What did they do? They became very comfortable. They amassed huge wealth, and this guy sitting in the presidency now is one of them. Amassed huge, gross wealth. They are multimillionaires twice over, if not running into billions. All this group of South African blacks. And what did they do? They neglected the black people, the poor at the end, which is the vast majority, maybe 80% of even the population of South Africa. Okay? And now, and I'm speaking, using South Africa as a template, but this ran through many African countries, even including Ghana. Our resources have been taken, we have no control of. Even the leaders of our country have no control of our resources. They take about 80, 90, some cases in ridiculous, some of these contracts that we have in Ghana, it was like we were getting 10% of our gold, of our bauxite and other stuff. How does a nation run with 10% of maybe say out of $1 billion? And that 10%, once it hit the country, you have all these faces. That's why people say, oh, Africa should be democratic. Africa is not democratic. We don't have a democratic dispensation in Africa. It's just a face. It's just a facade. It's not true democracy. The people's voice doesn't matter. Once they get voted in, there are others out there that controls them. And they have no say. Right? So you have a situation whereby you're getting about, the most we were getting is about 15% of our mineral resources. Now you get that percentage. And that 15%, the people that run this so-called democratic, I'm using Ghana now, as a democratic country, they will take about 80 to 90% of it. Then the vast majority of people is left with about 5-10%. We have a situation in a country that, one time, one of our presidents went to Qatar, right, for one of these meetings that they do, something that they organize there in this UAE. He went there, and the emir, the guy of Dubai, I don't know whether they call him Sheikh or Emir or whatever, the top guy in Dubai, he came out purposely to say thank you to Ghana's government that year, that particular year, Ghana spent about 3 billion worth of gold to Qatar alone. And with that year, not long after that, but a year or two, less than 2 years, we were in the IMF begging for $3 billion. It was estimated that you will cry when you hear these things. As an African, makes you cry. We were in IMF begging for 3 billion and with the huge conditions. And the money wasn't even this. When you go to IMF, they don't give the money to us. They'll tell you, well, you can't do A, B, C, O, D, or D. And we will give you, if you go for $1 million, well, we give you 200. If you go for $1 billion, we give you 200 million for maybe quota, another quota. When we believe that you're doing what you're supposed to do, the instructions and the rules that are giving you, we will give you another maybe 400 million. And then as time goes on, the rest of the money will be dispensed to you. Whereby if they go to IMF, they don't get all these conditions, but we do. But our leaders have to go to IMF because they themselves have stooped themselves so low, and corruption has sort of been consumed by corruption. They cannot see, and also they've been controlled. If anybody tells me, apart from this,
that's not true.
What is not true?
The fact that IMF don't give African country what they ask for, it's not because of racism. It's because we
I'm
have
not
a
saying
history.
racist.
Right. We have a history of defaulting on our loans. We have a history of corruption and stealing the money. So they have structural programs to make sure that we can repay the money in a timely manner.
When the European, after the Second World War and America and the rest, that the countries on his knees, they went to IMF loan, they went to IMF, and even in between recent past, some countries, they get about 1 or 2% loan interest. When we go, we get about 7%.
Yeah, because we're right now we are at higher risk of defaulting and not repaying those loans.
Let me just finish what I'm saying, because you make me lose my thought. Are you making excuses? It's typical of our men in Africa. There, you go and talk to them about why can't you people stand up as men? And they'll tell you, oh well, you can't do this, you can't do it because of ABC. Stand up as men, stand up and stand up for your people. Okay. What do you mean?
I guess you didn't live in the United States, but here we have credit scores. The credit scores usually sometimes determine your interest rate. If you have a low credit score, you're going to pay a higher interest rate.
It's nothing to do with credit scores.
The lady is right, Elvis. The lady is speaking right. Because what the European does, they give you those loans and then they give you huge interest rates. So she is right. A lot of those you cannot pay back because they give you a bunch of stipulations. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Remember, Traore said he wanted to fix roads. They charge him over $1,000 billion to fix the road. So how are you going to pay that back?
That would be $1 trillion, $1,000 billion. Come on now, let's not exaggerate. Let's speak on facts.
That's what he said. He says it's $1,000 billion.
Guys, let me finish. Let me finish. Did I pass Africa?
My thought. Otherwise, it wasn't even the IMF loan, and I'm not talking about racism. They do it to Southern American countries. They do it to Asian countries. It's no question about racism. It's a system that is set up that it goes against us. So we should rid ourselves of it. That is what the Sahelians wants to do, and that is why I support them. Because you will never win with that system. We will never win. We will never get anywhere. You tell me, these people will tell us, oh, we gave Africa X amount of $1 billion in maybe aid or something. Do you know how much they're taking back? They're taking about 100 billion back. They give us about 10 billion. They get up. It's always the balance. It goes against us. It's no question of saying it's of race. They're just doing what they're doing because it helps them. And I wish.
Can I just add something? What you are saying, you see, if you look at what happened in Iran recently, it tells you full well that the problem is not necessarily the Europeans or the world. It's Africans that are not taking charge. They are not ambitious for their people. They don't ask for anything. I see that in Nigeria all the time. Our leader will go to Washington or London, will ask for training.
Upon what you just said, one time I watched a newsreel about Ghanaian government, right? Ghanaian government officials gone to Japan to have a meeting with them. That was a newsreel. All the Ghanaian men and the women, also 1 or 2 women here and there, the government officials that have gone to this negotiation with Japan, they all came in there with no notepad, nothing. They all
because they lack ambition. None of them, they lack ambition. They don't have any ambition for
and the
Japanese guys, this is a random question. What's the name of the type of personality someone has if everything just has to be completely structured, or they'll lose it?
Is it compulsive? Someone who has
not compulsive. It's
obsessive compulsive disorder.
Obsessive compulsive.
I
That's
don't
not
know,
it.
but I don't know. I
No,
mean,
I don't
that's
know,
a
but go ahead.
random thing.
No, go
Anyway,
ahead.
but the Japanese came in, you could see how disciplined and older they are. They all came in with the notepad, all of them, except the leader of that group, which was like one of the other prime minister or top minister or somebody. He was the only one that didn't hold a notepad. All the Japanese people came in with notepads, and you could see them jotting, and the Ghanaians sat there with no notepad. I was sad. Even I know when you go to a little meeting, you can have your own little notepad and take things down in case you might forget or might miss something. And this is what we have. So all I'm trying to conclude on is, it's not the fact that you can say racism, blah, blah, blah. It's not just that alone. We are not fighting for our people. The people that came in after the independence, that they got rid of all the ones that they didn't want. This one came in, they're just black faces with a very colonial mindset. They came in to perpetuate and continue what the colonial masters left. And this is what we're still holding today. Now, coming to Malema being put away for this, well, he's been sentenced. I don't know if he's going to go to jail. I mean, people say, oh, South Africans are xenophobia. The issue with South Africa, wrongly or rightly, it's the only country in the southern hemisphere that is really doing very well. You say that these people are controlling the economy. Yeah, fair, it's true. Maybe that's happening. But they're building up a lot of industries. And all you're doing it, you're having a huge, because as I'm saying, when the resources are taken, the top half, the Europeans, and then the blacks get about the bulk of the resources, maybe whatever, money or whatever, by 80-70% or whatever. Only 20% is left for the ordinary people who are the vast. And then see horde of people coming into the country uncontrolled. And then they have to fight for the meager resources that is left for them. That is the problem. Now, if South Africa is saying, Zimbabwe, go back to your country and fight your system, or Nigeria should be back in Nigeria fighting their government. Nigeria is a filthy rich nation, huge resources, huge amount of people, human resources that could do so much. And yet every day what we hear, negative news all the time. Nigerians should be fighting their government, not sitting in South Africa fighting South African. In Ghana, for instance, our population is about 33 million. I will tell you, the true indigenous Ghanaians, there will be about 26 million. The rest are all foreign nationals. How many more can a country like Ghana take? Even to build a school, they have to go and borrow money, or they have to wait on donation to build a school, to build a hospital. Recently, we have issues on Nigeria's influx. Oh, Ghana schools, they're bringing in their children to be schooled there. Oh, Ghana hospital, the women are coming in to have babies. Where do you think the money is coming from for Ghana to sustain all this? They can't sustain themselves. So we all need to think deeper and stop this. Oh, that country is being said. It's about fighting over the meager resources that is left, which is not enough for them. And other people coming in and taking or also feeding on that. That is the issue. And we should be fighting our leaders all around this country, not just fight ourselves. And so this group have been the xenophobic, that group have been. That is not the case. It's about fighting for resources. And that's what it is. I'm finished.
Let me pass the mic to Kidola. Go ahead, Kidola. Africa, have you spoke yet?
No, I haven't spoken.
But go ahead, Africa. I got pass to Kidola.
Okay, greetings to everyone. I think the word that you was looking for
OCD.
is probably OCD or perfectionist. So yeah, basically, I think South Africa. You know, if you look at how South Africa is as a country, to begin with, before the Europeans arrived to that land, you can see they don't have any cohesion in that place. The way it seemed like to me, okay, looking at it from the outside, you had the Bantu invasion, which is Shaka Zulu, you know, who went over there, and obviously you got the Khoi, you got the San people over there, and obviously they was barely wiped out by the Bantu, who are obviously, I think, are still the majority of that region. And then you have the invaders who came in later, and you know, settled in the land. And so now you see you have a different conflict of people who find themselves in the same land, they do not get on. You know, that's the problem as it is. But to me, I don't think South Africa, they have leaders. And also, if I'm honest with you, I think South African most African males in this generation are weak. Well, I think South African men are the weakest men you can find in the world. They're just weak. Okay, they're not. Someone needs to mute.
What evidence are you basing this on?
Can you not interrupt me, please? Thank you. Can someone
Yeah,
needs
but
to
you
mute,
can't
please?
make such a broad
No,
statement.
I'm not talking to you. I am not. I am not.
But you made a similar statement, V, that African men are weak. You made that statement too earlier.
I think she's mentally deranged. Can you not interrupt me, please? Can you not interrupt? Can you not interrupt me? We're having a mature discussion. Please don't interrupt. Someone needs to mute, please. I think Amara, can you mute, bro?
No, we cannot hear anything.
That's me. It's fine.
Go ahead.
Go after.
Yeah, I think they're weak because if you look at their behavior of how they behave, and in fact, if you look at the leadership that they had since the invasion of Europeans, you can see they allowed other people to actually come in their lands. Obviously, they fought. I know they had a battle. Obviously, the British won because of the guns, just like all over the entire African continent. Okay, but how comes they let these people settle in the land? Look at the population gap between the whites and the Asians and the black South Africans. It's a massive gap. How can you let this tiny minority people have so much hold on you for so long? And you even have other Europeans who help you fought against their own people to give you independence. Then I start blaming Mandela. Nelson Mandela is one of the people, I would say, who is a traitor to his own race.
Yes.
Nelson Mandela is a traitor to the entire South African race, for that matter, because he allowed these people to actually have a stronger foothold in a different way by allowing that term rainbow nation. Why would he allow an African country or African place like South Africa, a country like South Africa, a majority Bantu country? Obviously, we know they're not Bantu, they're not native to that land. They went there, but how can he allow that to be rainbow nation?
All right, let me mute myself because I'll mute myself.
Please, thank you. That would be the best thing you ever do for anybody. Can you just shut up?
Let's be respectful to the lady. Guys.
Mandela is a traitor. That's true. That's true.
I'm not talking about Mandela. The statement he made that Bantus are not originally from that place is wrong.
They're not. Don't you know about the Bantu expansion?
Oh, this woman is annoying, bro. Honestly, come on.
Hold on, Africa. Let's be respectful. Like I want this. I want this to be a safe space for the women.
Yeah.
For everyone. I want this to be for everyone. So
I apologize for saying.
Let's not put sex into this. Just please.
Yeah, no. I did not anyway. I just like to S up, but that's fine. I'll take that back. I don't. I'm very respectful towards women. So you know that since I've been on the platform. But some people deserve the respect, and some people also respect is you have to deserve it sometimes, Dennis.
Okay.
And
go ahead. You got a minute there. I'll pass the mic. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's already just. I'll pass the mic. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Kidola, go ahead, Kidola.
Oh, thank you, Dennis. For me, I have a different perspective. I really don't want to criticize South Africa. Really, I will touch on everything in 6 seconds. You see, South Africa. You can't really blame Mandela. Mandela is something years old when he came out. At that age, sometimes we forget about his name, So when they told Mandela when he cheat, he believed them. So the people that surround Mandela, they were giving him everything. They gave him the telephone number of Elizabeth Taylor. They gave him the wife of Mozambique late president crashed. So Mandela was even happy to call Elizabeth Taylor and say, Elizabeth Taylor, I'm here, Mandela. And he was sleeping in castles. Give him a queen and king biscuit, butter biscuit to eat. Mandela was just enjoying his life without not really, he worked really concern him, but not about South Africa anymore. So you cannot really blame in this. You see, South Africa, actually, you cannot really call them really African. I don't know Africa of it. You see, it was the elite that were moving around. And this elite, they were all drinking, green tea, vanilla tea, and every capital city, they were giving them good food. They were really living a life. And when those the elite return home, they didn't really tell their people what they enjoy, what the other Africans, how they took care of them, treated them good and everything. So when they came back home, the real ones inside that were fighting, that the white people were shooting, didn't really know much about other African countries. You have to know they isolate them. They were being used as almost like slaves in their own territory. So even Zimbabwe, even they have the same tribe as Zimbabwe far away from them. So you cannot really blame them. It's what they see themselves. The real pan-Africanism, let's just be honest, it's 3 countries: Nigeria, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. The other ones are just want to be pan-Africanism. Who sing the tea very loud, but they're not really. I can still remember we have Indians, Kenyans, even Ghanaians was even football stars in our national team. A guy called Boate, who came to Nigeria to play soccer and become a Nigerian citizen. The lady talked about Nigeria coming to their country. I think it's good time now for you people to drive Nigeria away from Ghana, so that we can actually form a revolution and grab these leaders that are bloodsuckers and finally put them where they belong to. No African leader is good anymore. They're all Rolls Royce and Bentley leaders, who want to live in abroad and buy houses there and live life. Africa, we can say as we want to say, make it sweet or not make it not sweet. We are backward people. We don't know how to behave. Once they just give us power, we just want to be king of king. Look at the Europeans. I don't know because of their weather or how we organized.
I got a quick question for you, and maybe Dinus can answer too. What do you think about what's happening with the ADC and the Supreme Court, where they're trying to disqualify them, from not reaching that deadline in May to register as a party to contest an election?
Because the man in power is scared. He's scared. He's not strong. These are the things. When you're scared, you do everything. And if they don't behave well, Nigeria is in a dangerous place. I hope everything behave well. We've been sleeping since.
But Dinus, you heard about that, right, Dinus? And you're going to Nigeria pretty soon here.
Yeah, I didn't know that. The ADC, is that the new party Peter Obi's joining?
No, they win the court case. Yeah, ADC win the court case.
I read somewhere Peter Obi already said he's going to leave that party possibly.
No, he's not leaving. He's not leaving. I think
the APC is trying to make it where they can't register or they're going to miss the date to register as a party.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I can Nigeria population. Nigeria population is huge, They give fake number. If you come to we have all kind of tribe in Nigeria. Nigeria coming that they do it town service. We have all kind of people there. Only that Nigeria is a capitalist system of this. That's why we don't really ask who are you, who you not. If you go to people sowing Agbada in Nigeria, some of them are Senegalese, Gambians, and everything. You understand me? Only Nigeria to focus on themselves. We're not really asking you where do you come from? Who are you? No, my brother, so much Agbada.
I agree.
Thank you very much. We leave. Because what should I be questioned with you? Please, that you go feed me. You understand me? I'll go look. I'd rather to collaborate with you, make I get my money. So what I'm trying to say is that we all have problems. Those days leaders that find independence, they're all gone. These people have no house in London, no house in America. They are one kind of people, they are different. So we for Africa to come back, it will take some years. With these leaders now, they're not like do you have that Nyerere have a house in London? No. If they have no house in nowhere, Kuruma have nothing there. To talk, I blame actually. If Kuruma would have fight, if he go behind Morocco and Egypt and Ethiopia into this so-called African Union, he just focus on only where the black people pass, would have started enjoying this African Union today. We supposed to, he just start including that. Yeah, let's form together. No. So I blame Kuruma for that, but I like the guy. He actually fought for Nigeria to fight the white man to have independence. People are the
so what do you think about the topic, Adola? What do you think about Malema shooting that gun in public and being sentenced to 5 years?
Yeah, you see, it's a system. And that system is what you're seeing now. Malema is fighting a powerful system. That white woman is just carrying the law. You see, the other people behind this, These are ANC big dogs. You understand? These ANC big dogs, they are not different. They're still the ones of those elites that were running around Africans, enjoying and eating jollof rice in Ghana and Nigeria and in all these places, they're the one fighting him. These are the so one people that suppressed Mandela. I gave all kind of superstars number, Nollywood stars number on Mandela's pocket. As I start calling this poster, they like you, and the Queen Elizabeth and Holland Queen also. So he's fighting the system. It might be Jay, it might be wicked. That's just the thing. They want to humiliate him, and after that, they will finally push him aside. Thank you.
Dennis, please,
All
can
right.
I just clarify something quickly?
You got 30 seconds. I gotta pass it to Amara.
Regarding South Africa, listen, I don't come here to insult anybody's intelligence, and I don't want anybody to insult my intelligence either. Right. I'm a very strong African-minded person, and I read a lot about African, and I read a lot of our African scholars. And also I read a lot of European scholars when they are writing contrary to what actually is. I was also brought up in a very traditional kind of home where they bring you from the day you're born, they start feeding you your history and your culture. That's how we're raised. Okay, this idea that Bantus migrated to South Africa, it was the Europeans that came up with that idea. There's not any evidence to back that up. If you ask any African-minded person that learned history about our migration, they will tell you there is no evidence to back that up. Secondly, it was the colonialists that almost wiped out the Khoisans because they used to shoot them for sports. Anybody can just check that out. So I'll leave it alone.
All right. Okay, we all know about because I'm from Cameroon.
I gotta pass it to him. Go ahead, Amara.
Hello, how y'all doing today?
Good.
Okay. This Malema is a young man. He'll come back outside. It's just 5 years. And when he comes out, he's going to be the next leader over there in South Africa. He's in the pipeline. Because all this does is going to revitalize the woke South African. The woke South African that thinks the rest of the continents are part of them. Not the South Africans that think that the rest of Africa is poor and backward and they don't measure up to them. So this is just part of the journey. I mean, you're going to take 5 years. I mean, you come out a hero. I mean, he was struggling to be president. This just catapults him to the next level. So the die-hard people that are still revolutionary think of the days of the struggle will follow him across all parties. So to me, this just a blip. It's just gonna catapult him to the next level. That's all I gotta say.
I think it's CD now, not CD.
Yeah, go ahead, CD.
Hey, partners, everybody. With South Africa's situation, hey, how you doing, Africa? Yeah, with South Africa's situation.
Tell God, thank you. Tell God, thank you.
Yes, man. So I think Thabo Mbeki was the only true, Pan-African president in South Africa. Jacob Zuma, he was very corrupt. Ramaphosa, the same. And I knew they were targeting Malema for a long time, right? This being a setup. So even when Ramaphosa came to the White House, Trump asked him why they can throw this guy in jail, why this guy can be arrested. So from that point on, I knew definitely he was in trouble, right? So if you go to South Africa, you feel so pathetic for the Black South Africans, I would say the Black people in America are far better off than Black South Africans.
By far.
And then when you see most of the time people that do well over there are West African, especially Nigerians, and they do extremely well, and they don't like Nigerian, especially West African. So
That's true.
Nigerians help them a lot to open their eyes, and they don't like, for some other reason, they just don't like other blacks. I don't have any experience with the Zimbabwean, but with the West African that I met there, even when I arrived at the airport, they thought I was Nigerians, right? So they have so much hatred for West Africans. It's unbelievable. But it's sad. It's a sad situation. I don't think blacks of Africa will ever advance anymore, or they're going to be in this situation forever. Uh, with the credit system, they saying, someone was saying that, they give a high credit credit percentage. I don't believe in that. I had the same belief, right? But when you look at the big credit rating agency like S&P, Moody, and Fitch Rating, these are all Wall Street firms. So my experience with Fitch Rating when I was there, African country, black country have the lowest credit rating, lowest. And in the lowest that you have, the higher interest rate they're going to charge on your loan. That's definite. I mean, the same thing in America again. We, the black people, have the lowest average credit score, 620. So we tend to make everything to be a racism. I don't believe that. I think it's because of corruption. The reason why we have all these lower credit rating is because of corruption in Africa. And that's why when they give one loan, the loan can be very expensive, right? So you will see everything about Nigeria, but as an African, when you arrive in Nigeria, they have no problem with anybody, except Ghana. Ghana is the one that when you go,
Right.
they want to know where you from, right?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
sold black people to slavery, and they have slave origin over there,
And you
right?
don't have slave
Especially
law. You see,
Accra,
you
right?
guys are full of waffle. You don't have
So
Please let the man
intelligence in
speak. You
your.
see, we need to respect ourselves here, man. Please
No,
let
you
people
are full of
respect you,
waffle.
so
Both
you
of
can
you. You are
respect it.
waffling.
Listen, the
You have
respect is
slave talk
deserved, you
all
know.
along your
so
post.
You're the only woman on the planet who want to give you respect,
No,
but please
don't come here and
don't
tell
take
that's a
that
lies.
respect
Western.
for
That's a
granted.
Western
Don't
woman.
come here and tell
Don't
lies.
worry. She's a Western
Yeah,
lady.
Don't.
yeah. This is
So
Don't.
Afrocentric
You have
panel,
slave
okay?
talk all along your coast. You have slave
so
talk
when you
all along
when
your
you look
coast.
at it right
Yeah,
now,
see the
the
talk.
example, the common
Don't buy
example
it
Ghanaian is so
is
again.
beauty
they
friendly.
have a white king.
You know the
They
people
have
who have been captured along the Sahel in Nigeria
Dinus,
and all your Okini and
can you
Ghana's the
crossing
lady is
Ghana
cutting
coast.
me off.
The
Hey,
Ghanaians
V,
go there
V,
to
V, V,
do that.
V. So V, when people were
No,
interrupting you,
don't
I
be
told
me when you tell me
nah,
waffle.
No,
Don't
V,
be
stop.
me. The two of you are full of waffle. The two
V.
of you.
No, I had to
When the
not
people
interrupt
were,
you. No,
when the people were going along,
V, V, I,
they're
V,
going
I
along
got,
to
V, I
Mugabe,
got to put you on
they're going
timeout, V. I
along.
got to put you on timeout. I got to put her on timeout. Go ahead.
So when you look at it, like they have a white king in Ghana. They celebrated one white guy that he's being a chief. I think he's a chief, and they have problem Nigerians having chief in Ghana. And look at the amount of contribution the Nigerians are doing to the Ghanaian. Yeah, you will see, yeah, because of the population of Nigeria, you will see one or two of them causing trouble. But the success stories is hard, right? So why they can't accept Nigerian and having their own chief in Ghana if they can have a white chief in Ghana? So this is the double standard Ghana always playing in West Africa, and which is very, very sad, right? They pretend to be Pan-African, but they are not, you know. And I'll say this over and over. This brutal civil war Sierra Leone went through, the same as Liberia. If it were not Guinea and in Nigeria up to this time, people will be dying. Ghana, yeah, they pretend to be Pan-African country, but they are not. You know, they are not at all. They sue black people and they're making money off it. And they should
Right.
close down our slave origin. But thank you
Right.
guys.
I agree. I mean, we always criticize Nigeria here, because we want the country to be better. But Nigeria are very welcoming people. It's one of the
Yep.
countries you find all nationality in just like Ivory Coast for that matter. And
Yeah.
Nigerian policies, They're very Pan-African. If you look at the Nigerian companies who actually expand throughout West Africa, I mean, Dangote, for example, if you look at Dangote investment in Ghana, for example, I mean, it's amazing.
Even
You know,
Yabeko, he
you
got
know,
a
yeah,
cement factory in Abidjan. You know,
right.
the biggest
You know,
cement
sometimes
factory in Abidjan.
we need to take criticism. This is not about Ghana anyway, but what I'm trying to say is like in South Africa, the leaders let them down, just like most African countries. But the leaders that came in, came on after, they had gained their independence, they're the one that made this fault at the first place. And the thing is, they can actually pass laws. But the country is heavily divided. That's the point I was making. You have the colored, you have the Sang, you have the Khoi, you got the Bantu, they're all divided into different groups. And the white people are taking advantage of this in South Africa, and you
Yes,
can see
that's
how
true.
the parties.
That's true.
You can see how the parties are forming, and also when you have, when you have them making alliance with the racist white party because they have no choice. If you look, if they weren't divided, they would need to have made an alliance with that racist white party that actually majority came from the Cape. And
Exactly.
I mean, exactly. So the reality is they are divided in between, and the white people are using that. And we know for a fact, one of the reasons why they feel like this is the inferior complex. The thing is, it's all psychological as well. It's psychology. The white people manage to get into their brains.
After we got someone new on the panel. Let me Teddy on politics.
No problem.
Go ahead, Teddy.
Okay, thank you.
V, one second, Teddy. V. I'm gonna bring you back on, V, but don't interrupt. After Teddy on politics, V, you can speak.
No, Daniel, don't bring her back. She's rude.
No. I'm gonna bring her back. After Teddy on politics, V, you can speak. Go ahead, Teddy.
Daniel, sorry.
V. I'm gonna remove you again, V. After Teddy on politics, you'll be able to speak.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for bringing me back. But I only interrupt when
V. Okay, after Teddy on politics, you can
That's
speak.
a classic Western lady. So
go ahead.
Okay.
Teddy on politics.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm very
So
traditional African.
Go ahead, Teddy on politics.
Yeah. So they've been going after Malema for years. The ANC, AfriForum, and others have been going after Julius Malema ever since he left the ANC. They've been trying to find something on the AfriForum. They tried to sue him for hate speech. They took him to court for hate speech some years ago. They tried to get rid of him that way, and I guess they finally found something to try to get him out of parliament and get him out. I'm assuming that he's still president of EFF. So, and that's one thing. And the other thing is that the apartheid really never ended in South Africa. Political apartheid did. They gave up too much to end that. Economic apartheid never ended. So they gave up too much. They gave up too much because they gave up the nuclear weapons. They would have been the only black country with nuclear weapons, the only one. And they gave that up so that Mandela could be president, so they could have elections back in the 90s, 91 or so. So they just gave up too much. They gave up too much. So that's all I really wanted to say in case people didn't know that AfriForum and ANC is a bunch of sellouts in the ANC. They wanted to go. Yes, they wanted to get rid of Julius Malema for years. They really want the EFF gone. But that's all I wanted to say.
And they must
hold on. Let me pass it to V. V, you got 1 minute. I'm gonna pass it to Najee. Go ahead, V. Say what you gotta say.
Dennis, thank you. I'm usually not like this, you'll be surprised. I'm not. But I have a mind that I cannot take it when people are speaking on fact. These guys speak about Ghana a lot, but they don't know anything about Ghana. I'm the first to. Dennis, how many times have I come here and criticize our leaders? I criticize them every day. I do it in Ghana. I get into a lot of trouble with a lot of big people in Ghana. I remember some occasions that my family would not even allow me to. I remember we were going to a big occasion where there's my family excluded me because he said, no, you're going there, you're going to have an argument with them, so we don't want you coming with us. Because I like to stick with facts as I know it or I've read. And when people come here and they sort of continuously propagating things that are not factual, it is a problem for me. Okay, Ghana did not go around the Senegal Bay. They did not go around the Sahel. They did not go to Nigeria. They did not even go to Sierra Leone to collect slaves to run down to their port. Of course, other people did that and they ran it down to Ghana. That is true. And Ghanaians sit there and collect taxes. I'm not going to lie about it. But Ghanaian, the people in the territory of Ghana did not go invade any other person's territory to go and collect people to enslave them. It never happened in our history. We sat there when we fought them and we couldn't defeat them, and then we were divided among ourselves and we were fighting among ourselves, and we sold ourselves. Yes, Ghanaians sold ourselves, especially within their clans. We sold ourselves into slavery. Okay, so to come here and say because the pot was there, people were being taken. You know what these people were doing? They take people from Sierra Leone, they'll bring them to Ghana because the language differences, and they take people from Ghana, they take them to Sierra Leone and ship them off. That's what they were doing. So they were walking people all the way from the Sahel, all along the Sahel, northern Togo, Benin, it is as far back as Nigeria, into our ports. They did that, yes, and we sat there and let it happen. But to say Ghanaians sold, Ghanaians were not selling people into slavery. There's a slavery market down in called Salaga. It's up in northern Ghana, in Tamale. Go there and research. The man that set it up was a Mandinka man from Guinea with his warriors. When he came and conquered these people, fought them and he defeated them, he set the slave market up there. But they blame Ashantis. Maybe Ashantis went there to buy slaves. Yeah, probably they did. But it wasn't Ashantis that set it up. But every time they mention slavery, because Ghana is known for its notoriety with those two miserable buildings, and they, and I've been there to that place when I was younger as a primary school. They took us there. They used to take us for excursions to learn about. I didn't understand anything. That was the first time I came to close contact with African American women. I didn't even understand they were because they were women saying their 40s and 50s. I was a very young girl, and they were standing there in that slave dungeon with reefs, crying and talking, and you can sense by the accent that they're too sweet. They weren't like our mothers, so I knew they were different kind of women. I didn't understand them, okay? And they were, like really crying. They put reefs in there. And later on, as I grew up, I realized, oh, those were African American women that they came there to pay homage. Okay, that building is sitting there as a UNESCO, whatever they call it. That's why it's there. And a lot of people go there, make those trails, and they get a lot of solace from it. So why should it be knocked down?
But V, you gotta take emotions. V, you gotta take emotions out of it. If Ghana was collecting taxes off of the slave, they're a conspiracy of slavery too. So the guy was right. He's not wrong. He is right.
And she just insult the people that actually rescue Ghanaian people and home them in their country. We still have people of York, we still have Ghanaians in Sierra Leone.
Who?
The William Wilberforce days. We rescue Ghanaian people in Sierra Leone during the slave race.
Did I insult? I said they take people taking slavery. Picking people up.
I don't know why you're going on about slavery. Nobody mentioned. I did not mention about slavery on this platform. All I say is Bantu people.
No. Listen, somebody did mention about those.
My sister, what was the business between the Ashanti people and the Dutch people for 400 years? Were they trading beer? Oh yes, were they trading beer and meat pie, or were they trading slaves? Ashanti were catch up in the lower. I catch it because. No, you turn the history upside down. What is the business between Ashanti and the Dutch people for 400 years? Is it meat pie or water or kiki that were trading? What were they doing together?
Let me explain. The Ashantis and the Dutch people, the Dutch were giving guns to the Ashantis when the Ashantis were fighting their wars and also fighting the British. They had that trade, and Ashantis would sometimes give them gold, or sometimes the Dutch will request 4 slaves. Yes, they would. And what the Ashantis did was the war prisoners that they captured, they give it to them and in exchange for guns. That's what the Ashantis did. They were trading in normal things like gold or whatever it is that they can find, and whatever we want, they bring it to us. And the Ashantis also didn't control the coast.
My sister, you people were giving gold to the northern. You see, you turned against the Madika. You people were giving gold to the Madika for about 200 slaves as part of the exchange. The Ashanti was the one doing that for. You give two guns. You ask the people over there, the Dagba people, to come with about 200 slaves. And if they refuse to come with those 200 slaves, you people will not maintain the gun for them. You see, it's just good. It's just good to be honest. If they're not the past is the past.
They are Ghanaians were involved, 100% involved in slavery, especially the Akan and Ashanti.
Guinea.
They were selling.
Every tribe. Look, most tribes were involved. Most tribes were involved.
They're
Okay.
making money off it.
The Dagon people were some of the most fearless warriors in up in northern Ghana. And they were always allied with the Ashantis. So what are you talking about? You think the Dagon people will sit there for Ashantis to go and conquer them? When the Dagons were fighting, they called the Ashantis to help them. And when the Ashantis were fighting, they called the Dagons to help them. Read our history.
Okay, look. Most tribes were involved in that. Okay, let's just move on. It's not just Ashanti. All our tribes were involved in it. You know that yourself. We all know it. Let's not just go backwards, right? So at the end of the day, this is a bad past. It's a history that we don't like to look at. But we do in a way. Just
it's history.
But my sister, I'm just saying to you, we're all guilty of it. Okay, let's just move on and not talk about it again. Okay,
Africa, I'm not cutting you off. The thing is, if we want to move on, they should start making money off it. They cannot be making money off slavery and bling white men when they what they want selling people.
I've questioned that why they charge, and they say they need it to keep the building because it's sitting by the coast, and if they don't, every year they're working on the building, and unfortunately Ghana doesn't have the money to keep it up.
Are you Ghanaian?
I think what they was explained to me that they use it to upkeep the building.
V is Ghanaian.
She's Ghanaian. Okay.
Why they overcharging African Americans?
Let me just say my piece, please. See,
tonight I was supposed to speak on.
Yeah, the South Africans clearly they are in trouble because when you have an elite class that controls the wealth of your country and they are not part of your race, you have a big problem on your hand because even if they are part of your race, elites are very hard to dislodge. If you look at the examples around the world, it took serious revolutions to dislodge elites in countries, from the French Revolution, the Russian ones, the British, the Chinese. It's very, very hard to dislodge elite. They don't surrender their wealth easy. And this is the truth that South Africans will have to confront sooner or later. That said, regarding this Bantu expansion, the more I look into Nigeria every day, because when I host the program every Saturday, I always try to highlight each tribe in Nigeria, given that we have almost 300 and something of them. And the more I head towards the Middle Belt area, the more I begin to think that the Bantu expansion is actually true.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
I'm currently I'm in Taraba State, where the Mambila Plateau, they said were the Bantus. That's where they emerged from. I can tell you that the people there look more like South African than the DRC people. You really need to they look more like South Africans than the DRC people. They are lighter skinned, they are curvy, and they speak a Bantoid language, not just language, a Bantoid language. So if they tell you that the Bantu expansion started from there, there's a reason why they are saying that. And there's some truth there, because if you look at the Nok culture that existed almost 4,000 years ago, they had iron smelting there. So you can see that the technology percolated towards the area where the Taraba people are, and they got the iron, and they were able to conquer and do farming all the way from that region to South Africa. So it's not unheard of. After all, the white people are spread all over the world. You say, why are we not shocked that the white people are able to spread all over the world? But the idea that they are not indigenous is something that I find a little bit strange, because if they've been there for almost 2,000 years or more, and they've even lost their malaria resistance that West Africans do, then you can call them technically indigenous because they've been there way, way, way long.
I agree with that.
So from that point of view, so that's how I look at it. But regarding Ghana, Ghana has been troubling West Africa lately. I don't know what is going on in Ghana, what is going on in their head. They seem to only relate to people that make them money, where they have something to give.
That's true.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you.
It's really strange. It's like you are not even you are not a good neighbor to your neighbors. You betray them left and right, and then you go and ask hold on now. How about Burkina Faso? How about Burkina Faso? They start Burkina Faso in the back recently again with the tomato drama, and then they do that to Liberians too. And if you look at the same time, they are inviting the diaspora to come back, and they forget that those diasporans. Hold on now. They forget that those diasporas, many of them have majority Nigerian DNA in them. And they're inviting them because of the money they're going to get from them.
Come to Ghana. Nobody's forcing them.
Sorry, I agree with you. But my point is that if you look at South Africa, at least South Africans they only dislike Black Africans, but the Ghanaians is like they just like they don't go. South Africans don't go out of their way to trouble those Black Africans in their own countries or even sabotage their business outside. But Ghanaians actually do that. They try to sabotage Burkina Faso. They also try to sabotage Nigerian traders. It's like, why do you do that? I don't understand. You are West African, you belong to ECOWAS. I don't understand this nasty behavior. And hold on. Let me finish because it's my turn to speak after, please. Hold on. See, when I went to Ghana, I saw a lot of nice people, very easygoing people. But this thing that I see online is nasty, really nasty. Because if you look at their prison population, 92% of prisoners in Ghana are Ghanaians. And the remaining 8% that are foreigners, about 36% are Nigerians, which makes about 3% of the overall population. Population in the prison. Hold on. Which makes about 3% of the population in their prison Nigerians. The idea that their country is being overrun by Nigerian criminals is just crazy. They make it look like it's only Nigeria, that it's only their country that Nigerians exist. And the same xenophobic countries will always find a reason to be xenophobic. You have been xenophobic even in the 1960s. So stop making excuses that it's because of criminal. When we were there in the 1960s, it wasn't. Hold on, let me finish.
Let him finish. It's going to be Babaliko than me because people want to speak. Please, thank you. V.
Are you the interpreter for Tuniger, or are you the host?
In the 1960s, it's not because they were committing crime, it's because those people were poor. And Ghanaians expelled them, even if Nigeria was at war. It's like Iran is at war right now, and some of their refugees escape and go to the neighboring country, and the neighboring country expel them back into Iran, where they say, that's what Ghanaians did to Nigerians.
Yeah, Iran expelled about 2 million Afghanis recently. So Iran expelled 2 million Afghanis.
And Ghana doesn't have exceedingly more immigrants in their country compared to their population. Togo has higher, Gambia has higher, or the others have similar amounts in terms of percentage of immigrants, foreigners in their country. But Ghana acts very, very nasty towards foreigners. And when we say foreigners, we're talking about Black foreigners. They don't target Europeans. The same attitude with this in South Africa. I don't understand it. And you need to think about it, what people are doing, because people are going to remember all this issue today.
When you're done.
You can't respond to everybody. Let Babaliko speak because I want to speak after, please.
No, not the host. Until the host says so, I will respond. Okay?
What some of the guys saying?
Babaliko, you're gone. Yeah, Babaliko trying to speak.
All the figures that he's put out about prisons are Nigerians themselves that have been to prison come out and say it on social media that there's too many of them. They see too many of their people in our prisons. Okay, there are no jobs in Ghana, just like any African country. And what did the Nigerians do? You ask the Nigerian when they get to Ghana, they say they're coming to do yahoo. Secondly, the women too, they're bringing young girls, trading young girls to Niger. I'm sure you probably, you haven't heard about that either. You go to the streets of Ghana now, there are young girls.
But Ghanaians are doing that too. I'm not saying that we should tolerate criminals, but Ghanaians don't use that to stigmatize the entire country.
But Ghanaians doing the same thing in Ivory Coast, right? They're doing the same thing in Ivory Coast.
Complain about criminals, so they have every right to complain about criminals.
Yeah, but that's not what we're doing.
They want and this Liberian guy that's sitting there. There's so many of your population in Ghana.
Not at all. Your guy read all of them. And when you go to Ivory Coast, listen to me. When you go to Ivory Coast,
Babaliko, it's your turn to speak, bro, because I'm going to speak otherwise.
Let me say, we are very passionate. You're very passionate. Let me talk. We're very passionate. But when I was in South Africa in 2020, I meet a Nigerian guy. He was driving a Benz at that time, and all the South Africans were saying, "Yeah, he's a drug dealer. And when I meet him and I talk to him, the guy showed me three. He owned a restaurant and he owned 2 shops in Nigeria. So the guy wasn't no drug dealer. So what I'm trying to say is, not everybody who's doing well in a different country. Well, I just like to say different country because I believe all Africans. I believe if it didn't have any border, we wouldn't have all this Ghana and Nigeria and Liberia.
in some of our cities, 3% of the population are Nigerians. Either they are Yoruba,
But
Hausa,
Babalik, you done, yeah?
and the recent coming in are Igbo. 3%
They
in some
have
of
them
our
in other
cities.
countries. We
So
have
how
them.
can you
She
that?
gone like a road girl, you know. She gone like a road
All
girl.
right, so
But anyway,
V, let me tell you this.
yeah,
When you go to
CD.
Ivory Coast, right?
You don't
When you
like
go
you
to
too,
Ivory
you know.
Coast,
Yeah, I don't like you. I don't like you either.
the
I
prostitution
don't.
center
So
in
don't tell me
Ivory
you don't
Coast is
like me.
named
Am I
after
supposed to?
Ghanaians.
What's that gonna do for me?
V, we gotta show some decorum. We gotta show some decorum. We gotta show some decorum, V. Come on now. Come on. Come on,
No,
let's show some
I
decorum.
must stop until he stops referring to me. You don't like me, so what do I like you for? Why would I like you?
Road girl, that man.
Why would I
But
like you? Why
anyway,
would I like you?
so what? Okay, so Babaliko, you done, yeah?
No, I'm not done.
Okay, so no, I'm talking to Babaliko. He was
About
speaking
me,
earlier.
I'm gonna respond to you. That's it. You say anything about me, I'm gonna respond to you.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I won't disrespect you as a lady, but what I'm saying is that when you go to Ivory Coast, it seems like what you're saying about the Nigerians, the prostitution center in Ivory Coast is named after Ghana. You say you don't want to go to Ghana?
At some
It's a
point, yes, I
prostitution
know
center.
that. Yeah, I know that.
So
okay,
and
did you know that? So
Ivorians
why are
rip
you
them
saying
off.
that the Nigerians are doing that in
And the
Ghana? They're, no matter what, there's bad people everywhere.
I think let's not ruin this show for Diners, okay? Because this is his platform. Let's have some respect. Because we're trying to have a grown-up conversation, and we need to let this conversation flow.
I don't
because
care.
it's very important.
If the host tell me he doesn't want me to come back, I will accept it and move on. It's not going to
No,
kill me. But
nobody's saying you don't. Nobody's saying that. Nobody is saying that. But we just want people to respect each other and
That's
respect
what you
themselves.
said. I'm not disputing. There was a period of time where there was a lot of Ghanaian girls went to Ivorian to do prostitution. That's true. And the Ivorians ran them out of the country. They did. They ran them out. They chased them out.
We get that all over. We get that all over Africa. That's not just
so why is
Ghana.
it that always that if Ghanaians are saying they don't want Nigerians trafficking young girls onto their streets?
That's not true. That's not true.
You are targeting Nigerian traders too, not just Nigerian.
The only thing trading is for Ghanaians.
The only thing is their onions into your country. So stop pretending as if that's where you stop. You carry on with other areas too.
And wholesale,
do you know recent?
That's what they are allowed
do you
to
know
do.
recently?
They are not allowed to petty trade.
Okay, V. Okay. I hear you. Let me speak now, please. Thank you. Recently, this for number one, this issue between Ghana and Nigeria need to stop, man. Because I even see the Ghanaian president recently said, "We want Nigeria to sort." Let me just finish. We want Nigeria to sort themselves out because we don't want any problem to happen to Nigeria where they're going to be storming our country. Like those kind of words need to came down because
it's
not nice.
You see Nigerian president talking about them because Nigeria don't have their nonsense. They do this constantly. They destroy our country. They charge Nigerian traders $2 million to trade in the country. Some of the nonsense. It's not only coming as a target. They target the innocent ones too.
Innocent people are trying to go there to make money and also employ their people. I understand.
Pan-Africanism, when Nigeria is the one actually acting Pan-African. You guys are actually Pan-African.
I agree.
Nigerians were sent out in
okay, please, guys. Let's have some decorum.
Kind of situation was happening as it is now. Similar kind of situation.
Thank you. Thank you, V. Thank
you.
So go back to South Africa. What I'm trying to say is South Africa. Like for example, like Jacob Zuma, he's another problem because what I know is what Jacob Zuma, when he was in power, he actually weakened the ANC much more because what he did was he aligned with Gupta, and we all know Gupta was a criminal, And it's funny because the Indians have, I think, the second largest population outside India in South Africa, and also what happened is Gupta what he was doing. He was stirring up hate between the black and the white. And spreading a lot of propaganda on the newspapers, stir up shit. In the UK, we know. Tonight you probably watch the old school comedy, right, about Indian people who love their neighbor, how they behave, and in fact, it's well documented. They always like to play both sides, and they let each other fight while they actually go and eat your lunch. That's what they're trying to do in South Africa. But what happened is Gupta was giving a lot of money to Zuma, and to get contracts. So now Gupta is wanted. After Zuma left power, they saw all these things. Gupta is actually wanted by the South African government. South Africans are getting played by the whites, Europeans, and the other foreigners against their own. And the sad fact is, for the fact that they have control of the government, they cannot legislate laws against these people, and they actually allowing the minority elites who are non-native to the continent and to the land to actually, subjugate them and oppress them. It's actually quite baffling.
Okay.
How can they let that happen? No, hang on, V, please, man, please, I'm begging you, man. I want to respect you. Yeah. So that needs to that is.
Africa, let me just do 15 seconds. One area that should bother us, that is almost universal within the black community, is that we don't hold very highly technical positions. And South Africans are concerned that black people in their country don't have the capacity to run the country if they drive the white people out. And maybe there's an argument there because black people don't do technical.
Let me finish.
Yes.
South Africa.
Yes. That's true to Niger. That's true. But they do have people to run it. South Africa have one of the best universities in probably the best in Africa. They have one of the best in the world.
It is the best. They have some of the best universities in Africa. Yes, every time they
So they do have the mind. They do have the minds. V, please. They do have the minds. Okay.
The question is,
they do have the V. Let me just land. Let me land.
Africa, please tell me. Apart from our president, which African country? Well, West Africa, let me just stick to West Africa. Which West African country that is controlled by their people?
Which West Africa? Senegal is one of them. Ghana, Senegal, I've
controlled by their indigenous.
Most of them are controlled by foreigners in one way or another. Because if we look at most of them are. This is how, sadly, it's just a fact. None of our leaders are actually totally independent from the arms of these multinational corporations, and these foreign entities. That's the reality. And tonight, I was actually on a platform a couple of days ago, listening to a very hardcore anti-Northern Nigerian, anti-Hausa Fulani, and anti-Islamic platform. And they do have a former governor of Texas called Mike Armstrong that actually goes there that help them dictate policy, because a lot of the things that he's saying, he actually coming from the States. Okay. And I've seen things happening in that platform. Well, David Udayun or something like that, this Nigerian guy, the human rights guy, David Udayun. Can you help me? Tonight, what's his name? David
Udayun. I think I saw that debate actually.
Yeah,
between that
he went. Yeah, between that Benway guy. Okay, and he exposed them because that Benway guy, he one of the guys that went to America to lobby, for Trump to come and do what he's doing in Nigeria, and he was exposed because the David guy said to him, "The guy that I always see you with, don't forget he is behind a lot of these problems in Africa. He is actually he has companies, he has interest in destabilizing areas and coming with his money and investment and stuff like that. So these are hardcore right wingers who have been destabilizing the region, okay, and destabilizing a lot of countries. And you actually aligning with this guy and going to the White House to come against your people. It's so. Do you know also you're so right to Niger, because I've been saying this for a long time. I've Googled the people of Benue, okay. I have, it's so sad when I see how they're getting slaughtered by people. It's disgusting, and that needs to stop. But what I notice is, when I look at the Bantu expansion, you're 100% spot on, because they are quite new. Like the Chief people are quite new to that region. They're quite new because they only came there around the 17th, 18th century. Okay, and if you look at
what's the name of the people? I'll research it further. What's the name of the group you said?
The Chief tribe came around the Benue region around the 16th to 17th century.
Is it Nigeria you're referring to, or
in Benue? In Benue.
I think you're
Benue. Yeah, but the Fulanis are the ones that are coming there to attack them. So it's not necessarily.
No, that's true. I agree. I agree. And what I'm trying to say is, I believe there's been an issue with the Bantu expansion in that region for a very long time. Because if you look at the tribes, like the Birom and the other tribes, ethnic group that lived there, they migrated there they connected to those in the Chad.
For me,
and if you look at the Ijaw people to Niger, they migrated down there from the River Niger. So they've been there for longer. Yeah, from the Delta, right?
They are the oldest group in Nigeria.
There you go. Thank you, Tunaida. Hold on. So you can see, like the existence of the Fulani in northern Nigeria is around 13th century. That's when they settled
Yeah,
in
that's
northern Nigeria.
around 700 years ago.
Yes. So you can see that was I believe there was a war between the North, the West African and the Bantu expansion, and I believe that's why they were stopped right there. And I think it's an old conflict that's still going on.
I think I'm not necessarily sure about that. I think the what they call it, the Tea people have already assimilated into the population. If you look at them, you can even barely tell the difference between them and the local populations. The Fulanis, the difference is that they are coming with a caliphate. They are not even coming to live. They are coming with an ideology, religious ideology.
Oh
so
that's a different old thing. So this is what David was explaining to the guy, to the Benue guy, because according to his research, it's not as what Nigerians are making it to be, or they're coming over, because of caliphate, or they're coming over because of that. And these are all things that been played out on the media. It's all the propaganda that they do. Like for example, I used to say.
Let me explain something to you. I think David made a mistake there because he could have acknowledged that there are intersecting ideologies working at the same time. Because that is true. If you look at what's going on in Sudan right now, it's clear that there is this Arabization movement that's going on against
Sudan. I agree.
Sudan.
I agree.
The same thing happened in northern Nigeria, where northern Muslims want to dominate some areas and want to expel people. That is a long war that we're going to have spoken to somebody that actually participated in those conflicts. So it's something that is not new. The problem now is that why is the Nigerian government not dealing with it?
Yeah, but what David was saying is, if that's the case, how comes these things happen under a Southern presidency, and also how comes when these things happened, and he was breaking it down anyway. So he actually was he's arguing with all that. He was saying that's just all part of the propaganda that they use. But I agree with the ones in Sudan. It's so obvious because I actually 100% can see that happening. And the one in Sudan, the one in Sudan is so obvious. You can actually, even a blind person can see it. And it's funny how it's going down. The Sudan prices have gone down since Iran been smashing the Middle East and the United Arab Emirates, because we got more shit to focus on instead of killing our people in Sudan. I can see that.
And it turns out that Ethiopia is supporting the group that is targeting Black Africans. How you can't even make that up.
How can that? That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
My issue.
That's disgusting.
David Ude made a good point to try to put the guys out to the fact that these things are not as they appear. They are being funded to destabilize your country, and if you fall into the trap of going, but you see the problem with this is that you can't expect the guy to see clearly, because that's how the Kurds behave too in Iraq. If you have the people that are being persecuted in the country, don't be shocked when those people sell your country out, because the Kurds sold Iraq out. Iraq fell, and they are better off for it now, but the entire nation is worse off for it. You see what I mean? So if people are part of your nation, treat them well, protect them. Otherwise, they too will behave like the Kurds and betray your country. You can't blame them.
When it comes to African migration, if people have migrated, say, over 1,000 years ago, 2,000, I don't think that should be even a matter of, say, discussion. That's a long time ago. When you're talking about recent migration, say maybe less than 200-300 or even less than 100 years or something, then that's when you can say these people because if you look at that period in African history, we were moving. Africans, Mayans history, their kinds, they moved from Senegal Bay, Mali, came through to what's this place?
From Mauritania, from the Mauritanian region.
Yeah, that area. Yeah, they came in clusters.
Are you linked to the Soninke? Are you linked to the Soninke people?
Well, we're linked to several tribes along that area. Soninke.
No, Soninke, I would say mainly because they are not the same. Soninke and Maninka.
Hey guys, let me read these super chats. Baba Liko, thank you for the $20 holla. Happy birthday, man. One love, big up to all Africans. Baba Liko, thank you for the $2 holla. South Africa hates blacks from other countries. Gustavo, thank you for $5 holla. Shout out to Dynas. Baba Liko, thank you for $2 holla. V, control yourself. You cut me off. Happy birthday, Dynas. All right, appreciate you.
Did I cut somebody off? Sorry.
Yeah, I think you did. You did piss a lot of people off today, but we forgive you. We forgive you today. All right.
Yeah,
because we are
probably did. I
forgiving
probably
people.
did cut everybody
She
off.
just
Yeah.
don't like for you to talk true about Ghana. I really don't understand. You know? So,
His,
No,
the only thing is,
you're not allowed
you
to talk
see,
about Ghana. That's it.
I hope most Nigerians are that patriotic though. That would have been good, to Elijah. If
No,
most
no, listen,
Nigerians were this
I'm not
patriotic
just
like her.
passionate about Ghana. I'm passionate
Mm,
about Africa. I'm passionate about West Africa. I wish West Africa
mm,
we would get our act together and work together because West Africa is
mm.
one of the richest region
Yeah,
in
why is
the
it that Ghana
African
always
continent.
goes and strikes out and does its own thing every time? When they
Well,
wanted to
well,
do the
because
health
bad
program, why did
leaders.
Ghana not work
And
with the West
listen,
African nation?
Elijah, don't bring
two
this
like
jollof,
that. We
don't
got
bring this
bad
jollof
leaders
boy
like
here,
we have in Nigeria, but the people of Ghana are not like that. We have bad
Don't bring that
leaders.
jollof boy again.
You can't just fail to try to be like the good boy of the neighborhood when you should be working with. See, you know where I would respect Ghana? If Ghana decides to bring African leaders together, that's what they are supposed. That's what Nkrumah represent. They're trying to bring people together. But what Ghana is doing now is, oh, I'm all for myself. If you are making money, is good. But if you're not making money,
Listen,
you are no longer my brother.
I am
Bye
not
bye.
happy with the leadership direction, but I don't control the government. And you know what the Ghanaians did? About almost 60% voted for this man massively. So he think he's walking on cloud now and he can do anything he wants. I'm not really happy about Ghanaian politics. I'm not. I only get out frustrated when we speak about Ghana history. But when it comes to the current politicians, I don't like them myself, and I'm Ghanaian. But what can I do? The masses of the people, unfortunately, see, when Ferry made a statement that democracy is not for us, people didn't understand him. I'm sorry to say, it may sound harsh, but a lot of our population are not educated enough to understand what democracy is supposed to be about. If a man come and stand, even like you guys were talking about the Zulu guy, what's this guy, the president before that went to jail in South Africa, his people went and voted for him massively, but the guy did a lot of wrong. This is what our mentality is. Oh, he's my clansman. Oh, he's from my village. Oh, he's gave me money sometime. Oh, he paid for this for me. That is why they stand on to vote. They do not look at the nitty-gritty that this person coming into power maybe 4, 5, 6 years or whatever. Some of them, they've been there for life. What are they going to do that would affect me?
What
That
you
would
said,
improve
this
my
is where I
life?
disagree with you. You see, when I was in Ghana, this is exactly what Ghanaians do. They don't understand that they are even lucky to have the democracy that they do. I think Ghanaian democracy, this is one thing I would not criticize them for, is by and large reasonably stable, like that of the Senegalese even. So they are actually more stable in terms of the way their democracy works. So I can, Ghanaians like to complain about that one a lot. If you come to Nigeria, then you find something to complain about.
Yeah, exactly. You're lucky you got a stable democracy like Senegal. These are the two
No,
countries
but
you have a good
this is not
model.
working. And we have,
But
Ghana, they have a saying that garbage in, garbage out. And they're talking about the leaders that we vote for this party, they come in with their garbage, they're out. And the next minute we vote for another one, thinking they're coming to do good, and they come in with the garbage. So there's a saying in Ghana that the politicians are garbage in, garbage out. That's what they say.
This is why a lot of West African are leaning to military leaders now, because they feel like this democracy here, like what Traore was saying, it doesn't help anyone because it make the population very unstable. It become unseasonal. I am for whatever works. If democracy works, fine. If it's military leaders, strong arm that works, so be it. I don't care. Anything that works, I'm with it. If you get rid of all the, if Christianity works for every Africa, fine. If Islam works for all Africa, if it's voodoo that works for Africa, fine. Whatever works, I'm with it. That's the sort of person I am. As long as it advances our people,
Democracy
that's the
will
main
only
thing.
work when the people fight for it. In Europe, look at the European history. They fought for their democracy, The French have a massive revolution where they chop off heads. Their kings and they chop them, democracy would only work with the full engagement and the proper participation of the people. But the Africans we have on that place today, they're not. I'm sorry. Vast majority. That is the problem.
Like, see, look at Guinea, right?
Why do you vote for? Why do you vote for this?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, look at Guinea. Since Guinea have this Dumbuya, is the longest Guinea have been without unrest in the country. It's been peaceful. You don't have any people coming out in the street protesting, been smashing the street, and ethnic group fighting one another because he's a strong arm. He don't have any tribalism in him because he's a military guy. He actually follow whatever he's doing, whether you like it or not. He doesn't have tribalism, so the people actually like him for that. You understand? But the other leaders that came in the past, apart of well, even Lantana Conte was a bit tribalistic, to be honest, because he wasn't good
No,
for.
no, no. He actually used his tribal, which of course they often is in tribe anyway. But
Yeah.
he's do you know he's not even here we are not from the same region, but they all speak the same Madinka anyway. So he
And
decided
Alpha
that
Conde.
right Alpha Conde because
Alpha Conde, yeah, I know. He was
he's
tribalistic. He was very
right. He was
tribalistic.
more
Alpha Conde
tribalistic.
is related to Dumbuya, isn't it?
Alpha
Alpha
Conde
is
was a man.
related to him.
No, it's not. It's not related to him.
Okay.
No.
Nobody
No.
all speak all these leaders, they
Yeah.
all speak the same shit.
Yeah.
Dumuya Alpha or Lassane Ouattara, Imam Traore,
They all Mandinka. They all
they all
Mandinka
speak the
people.
same language. But the
Yeah,
thing is,
Mandinka.
so what Dumuya did was he chose Fulani to be his vice president, right? So
Right.
he basically, use that type of politics to rule Guinea, right? So he's not that tribalistic. It's all about himself. Whereas for Alpha Conte, he was more tribalistic guy, and then he wanted to use tribalism to rule Guinea.
Right.
So that's why he brought Dumuya to be his bodyguard, to be in head of his special forces, right?
Yes.
And this is the same guy that went and overthrew him. So
Yes, but he wanted to
yeah.
kill Dumbuya. That's the problem. He
No,
wanted to
I
kill
don't.
him.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, he
I
did.
think.
Dumbuya ran away to the Guinea. That's what I heard. He ran away to the Guinea
No,
Sierra
no, no,
Leone
no.
border.
I know the story. No, the other guy that he sent to Cuba as ambassador, they call him Idi Amin, right? So that's the
Yeah.
guy that wanted to overthrow. That's the guy that recommended. They call him Abubakar Kamara. So he recommended Dumuya to Alpha Conde that you can choose this guy to be your head of your special forces. He's a liaison officer in France. But this guy that was in Cuba all along, he wanted to overthrow. He wanted to be president. So he told Dumuya to overthrow Alpha Conde, right? But Dumuya
Yeah.
was not done. Dumuya was not, he wasn't arrested. He wasn't arrested at all.
No,
But
he wasn't. Well, he wanted. He what I heard from a very good source. This is just what I heard out there. That apparently he was wanted by Alpha Conde. He wanted to get rid of him because Conde was worried about him. He was looking at his back all the time.
I don't think if Alpha will worry about him. I think he was involved in some drug trafficking. That's what Alpha will worry about. They were telling, because the guy that was a defense minister for Alpha, his name is Ghane. He's in prison also. Who, of course, is another Madinga. So he's in prison
Guys,
right now.
we got some new people on the panel. Teddy, is your Obama phone working, Teddy? Teddy.
Yeah, it's working just fine. I had to step off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
It's
Teddy.
working just fine. Yeah. So one thing I did mention before was, there's a multiple parties in South Africa, and EFF is one of them. And there's the other one, DA, which is a swirler party, because they got both black and white folks in there. They got a bunch of swirlers in the DA and things. Now, what the ANC had to do, they had to form a coalition with specifically the DA because they won more seats in the last election, the previous election. So the ANC and the DA does not like EFF at all. They don't like EFF at all because that's a predominantly black and colored party. So they don't like the EFF at all. So they formed that coalition, the ANC and the DA, and they went after Julius Malema because they, like I mentioned before, they were trying to destroy the EFF ever since it came into existence about 13, 14 years ago. So they've been going after trying to get rid of Julius Malema, which is the leader, president of the EFF, and Floyd Shibumwa too. So they want to get rid of both of them. So like I said, it was just a bunch of sellouts in the ANC and the DA that went after Julius Malema. And one other thing, I wish black folks everywhere would pay attention to global politics, to geopolitics. Especially, I think, what is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. In the 90 plus parties in Nigeria, the Nigerians that are on the panel, it's a lot of them. And and half of black folks don't know which party is which. So, but that's what I wish that black folks everywhere would pay attention to global politics, to geopolitics, especially. I think, what is it? especially the political parties that are on the continent. So that's what I want to say. I meant to say that earlier.
Regarding
All right,
democracy in
let me pass
Africa.
the mic. I got to pass the mic to Mr. Nimba. Go ahead, Mr. Nimba. Mr. Nimba, mute yourself.
Hello, yeah. Can you
Yeah, we
hear
hear
me?
you. Go ahead. Yes.
Here, my African family. This is Mr. Nemba straight from Abidjan, the beautiful city in West Africa. Anyway, I was listening for a while. By the way, I'm not going to be too long. This regarding the topic, Julius Malema. I've always been skeptical about the EFF. I have many friends in South Africa. We chop it up sometime about the South African economic and politics, also geopolitics. And many of my friends there are against EFF because they think that EFF, the leader, are corrupt. They are not really, they're playing the game. They are also in the pocket of the white or the European company there in South Africa. So when we talk about the real pan-Africanism in Africa, hands-on for the uh, AES country. I'm from Cote d'Ivoire. I'm here and I see what's going on here. Even if my so-called president, Hassan Ouattara, you guys know, he was put in power by France. And the same guy, Alassane Ouattara, is a very, I can say, is against this young man, Ibrahim Traore, because he's doing a very good job there in Burkina Faso to put his country forward. Unfortunately, my country, Cote d'Ivoire, we don't have this type of leadership here in Cote d'Ivoire. I hope that the next president will be able to put Cote d'Ivoire in the league of those countries. So that was my my contribution. And again, I'd like to take the opportunity to tell my African sister and brother here. The African liberation is in our hand. Nobody will come from America or Asia to liberate Africa if it's not us, the African son and daughter. So thank you very much.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing that you said that kind of jumped out at me. Julius Malema is corrupt out of any of the leaders of the party. He's always going on white capital, white folks all the time. So that's where I do believe Ramaphosa he's compromised. He's a salad. He gets money from white folks. But I just have to push back on that assumption that you made, or that what you stated was that Julius Malema is kind of somewhat. I don't know who you know in South Africa, so I'm not going to discount what you're saying. But from what I know, he's the least corrupt politician. He's always going in for the land reform, trying to get the land back, all of that. And he's trying to keep going white folks all the time. He's been accused of being racist many times. He's the racist.
Yeah,
hey, Nimba, you got to mute yourself. You got a bunch of feedback.
He's the least politician in South Africa. You will say everything about him.
Hold on. Nimba, you got to mute yourself. You got too much.
Okay.
You will say everything about Julius Malema.
Nimba, you gotta come back in on a different device, Nimba.
Yeah, he's not a corrupt guy at all. This is my first time hearing that. I don't know who they are wearing that his picture, or I have been to South Africa. The only thing that you talk about Malema is more of, I don't like his support of LGBT. That's the only part I don't like about him. But to say he's corrupt, he's not at all. I don't know which part which part of South Africa those Ivorians live in, but he's not corrupt. at all. That's
And
not
EFF
true.
is also it's a major party in South Africa.
Yeah, nah.
They've got representatives on all levels of government. They got EFF members that are mayors and that are leaders in the provinces in South Africa. They're a pretty deep economic or political party in South Africa.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
the
the other thing
EFF
is his support for LGBT. Of course, all South Africans support that, but that's the only problem that I have with him. But besides that, he's not corrupt at all. That's not true. I mean, maybe he's talking about Ramaphosa or the other guy where he's in Juga Zuma, but McCain, the other guy, what is his name? The previous president, he wasn't corrupt. But Malema is not corrupt at all. That's not true.
The previous president was corrupt, and
he's a fence rider. He goes
Jacob
back.
Zuma was corrupt.
Because Zuma was corrupt.
Zuma was corrupt.
Mbeki was not corrupt.
Oh, Mbeki. Yeah. I mean, my fear is Elon Musk is behind all this. Tonight, the last time I don't know if you remember this, Tunija. There was Malema was in Nigeria months ago before all this problem started in Nigeria. He was there at the Enugu. Is it Enugu State, Tunija?
Yeah, he went to Enugu State. Yes.
Guess who was he was a special guest. Who was the special guest at that inauguration? Was His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, was there. And Julius Malema was there also. They both made a speech, and after that, it all start kicking off. And I'm thinking Elon Musk is behind this. It's behind all these problems in Nigeria, in South Africa. I believe he's all over it. Even Trump, they fell out. I know they did. They have. Well, I think there's that deal that they had when they helped Trump election. Trump is still paying him his homage, plus all the lobbying that's going on.
All these, though, South Africa does express or show more independence from Western policies than even Nigeria does. So even if I don't think Malema is going to fall the way people are thinking. This is not.
I hope not.
A scratch. It's not going to do much to him. He has too much clout. I don't think he's actually going to jail. Even if he does, it's not going to do him much harm. From what I gather, this appeal process could go on for years. We're talking about 5-6 years. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So let's not think that he's going to go to jail.
No.
Yeah,
do you think
Elon Musk to have a hand in what's going on with Julius Malema? I wouldn't put it past.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think he will. He is still behind it. I think he does have a lot of weight in this current Republican administration because he is sponsoring a lot of political parties all over the world in Europe, and I know he's probably was behind the one in Hungary. These are the extreme rights. Nobody is against conservative because they got certain values, but those right wingers, they always been against the advancement of our people. And just like the certain faction of the left also, so they are very funny fringes. I studied them very closely.
Now, I think it should be expected that someone like Elon Musk will back right-wing policies all over the world.
Right.
You can see that there's an awakening going on even in Europe against foreigners.
I was surprised with that Hungarian election to Niger.
Pardon? Oh yeah, no. Why are you surprised? He's been in office for 15 years also, so they voted him out of office. So it's not most of the Trump. What Trump is doing now is going to lead to a backlash against most of these right-wing policies. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to end, but it's going to push. Because look at what Italian Prime Minister did recently. She suspended the defense pact that they have with Israel. So you can see that Israel too is leading to a pushback against the West. Trump is going to lose a lot of support in November because of this. So there's a lot of problems that the right wing is experiencing now, including Elon Musk, whatever. From what I gather, there are even South Africans that are leaving America and returning back to South Africa because the life that they expected to have in America, they are not, it's not the way they thought it was going to be. So South Africa, if you look at the whites in South Africa, they enjoy a lot of privileges compared to the whites in America. Actually, they enjoy more privilege, they control more wealth, they have more power. The idea that they are going to go to America and expect to get a better life, I don't see that happening. So for me, if the way I look at South Africa is that it's a serious problem that they face because they have an elite class that actually control wealth, but they are not of the same race. And that problem is going to come to haunt them. They cannot escape it. This is not something, they have to defy history. They have to defy history for them not to confront that problem. Because except white people will rule over them for a very long time till their bigger brothers come back again and finish the job. That could be what happened. Because I don't know. When I speak to South Africans, I say, look at all the other countries that elites have controlled wealth, even if they are the same race as you. It's impossible to dislodge them. Even if there's a war, they always escape. Nothing touches the elite. They always see ahead of everything that is going on. So you are going to remain there thinking that you're going to take power from them. You're going to train your people to take power from them. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now, if Africans are going to make their way in this world, it's going to likely come from other countries in Africa. Because South Africans, it's the Europeans that control the power there. Even if they are powerful, the power is going to rest on the power of the Europeans, except the Europeans, just like America, decide to be more loyal to South Africa than any other part of the world, which I doubt is going to happen. Because at least America, Europeans control it. But South Africa, they are only 6% of the population or so. So I don't see that narrative changing that they put South Africans first. And I really don't see that. And it's not happened till now. So what do you expect? My take is that if other African countries start changing, maybe that will also spill over into Black South Africa. They too are going to realize that they need to start empowering themselves within their own nations. But it's so sad for me to tell you here that Black people all over the world technically are not sound. I don't understand why.
No, we're not. We're far from it.
Do you know that in America alone, only the Jewish people in America control, they win, not control. They win the Nobel Prize in Sciences, about 25% of them, of Nobel Prize in Science. They win it. So it means that generation after generation, they are raising technically sound people at the cutting edge of sciences. But Black people, you don't see Black people there at all. And if Africa is going to do well and going to make their way in this world, that has to change. And South Africa doesn't have a chance because if you drive the white people there out of there now, who's going to replace them? People that just want to farm or just want to buy this thing, football clubs or own sneaker companies. These guys don't care about ambition. Look at Nigeria. Now, Nigeria just borrowed about 5 billion from, was it not UAE? Do you know that 5 billion can build a spaceport that you can use to start sending satellites into space? But Nigerian leaders won't do that. So simple things that Africans can do, they don't do it.
No, there's no vision.
We lack ambition. We as a people, there's something seriously broken in us. We lack ambition.
Junaja, let me just say something. I don't know if I saw somebody was speaking about Nigeria. It was a Nigerian professor. I should have taken more notice of it. But he said there was a plan. I don't know how far that's true, but he said there was a plan to set Nigeria up in a way for it to fail. Not because of your population alone, also your wealth on the land, and also the influence that if Nigeria is being run well can have, if not just West Africa alone, but other parts of Africa as well. Because I know if Nigeria is run efficiently, you will have a lot of control over West Africa. Not control in the sense of dominating or anything, but economically, maybe defense, and also a lot of ideology and sort of what we call it, technical skills and all the rest of it. But unfortunately, it's not working at the moment. And this professor was saying that there was a plan, I don't know. But sometimes you hear some of these things. And
I see, they may have a plan, just like they plan that Scotland should never have a nationalist government, but they broke through it. See, they can have their plan. It's up to us to break that plan. There is no reason why African leaders cannot start having vision that, you know what, like you said, Nigeria could hold a lot of leverage. When I was speaking to fellow Nigeria, I told them Nigeria could create leverage. They say we don't have any leverage against them. I said you could create your own leverage and use that, because let's say somebody is doing business with you and they are making maybe $1 billion every year from you. You tell them, you know what, this relationship we have is too low key. I can make you earn $10 billion, but after you get $10 billion, this is what you need to give me. That is leverage. Now you're offering that person $10 billion, but if they refuse your offer, they're not going to get that $10 billion. But because if Nigeria decides to pull its weight in that region, they can do a lot of things. And Nigeria, if you look at Nigeria's record as a country going through all these things, you'll be surprised the good Nigeria has done for a country that is going through all this mess. If you list them, including within the last year or so, where they are intervening here, trying to solve problems for other people, left and right. Even today, that's supplying gas to Ghana.
Yeah, but you know,
all the way until before even Tinubu come to power, Nigeria was actually doing very good. I think Tinubu just the current president, he just break the record.
No, it's just black people.
I know the old bad, but he just break the record. He just smashed the glass. He smashed the ceiling. He managed to lose 3 ECOWAS countries.
They don't do anything. They just African countries. So we have to own up to this. How about Chad? How about Togo? How about Central African Republic? We are all like useless bunch of people that can't do anything for themselves. We can't build anything.
I said that before.
What does a black man control in this world? What? Tell me one.
Nothing.
We control musical. We are in music. We are in shaking your backside and do entertainment. That's where we are.
Now you're speaking.
In history, even going back in history, say during the time of Second World War, Nigeria was literally feeding Europe. You know that. You were sending grain to Europe.
I don't know, man. We are serving the people.
They still feed. Hold on.
Feeding Europe. It's not voluntary. They
still feeding Europe. They still feeding Europe. They got a pipeline going from Nigeria all the way to Niger, all the way to Algeria to feed Europe. What kind of nonsense? What kind of nonsense is that?
You have to have. Let me tell you. Do you know how the kind of slave mindset you have to have when somebody forces you, commissions you to give them something? Say, we are the ones feeding you. Actually, no, they made you feed them.
Yeah, true.
What's going on
here? You know, Tunaja, today I was talking. Me and Tunaja, I was speaking to the English guy today. I was speaking to the English guy today. You know what he said about the Commonwealth? You know what he said about the Commonwealth? He said, no, I was speaking to the English guy today. You know what he said about the Commonwealth? No. I said to him, what? I said, why does the Commonwealth exist? He said, well, it's Commonwealth. I don't know how he phrased it. Basically, it's Commonwealth as long as you know, they're taking from you, but you're not there to take from them.
That's how it works.
Yeah, to touch on something that Tunija said, a lot of black folks don't have control of their resources. Always had access to the resources. Who's digging the gold? Who's mining the diamonds? Who's mining black folks, right? But that's changing with like the Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali. They actually have access. They've always had access to the resources. Now they're controlling the resources. So that once more countries on the continent get control over the resources, I think that'll make a difference.
But as long the whole thing is, as long Nigeria black race to be successful, if Nigeria doesn't get it right, we're gonna remain like this forever. Because they have the resources, they have the brain, they have the population, they have everything to get it right. And for a black nation to make it, Nigeria should be a role model, and which of course is we're not seeing that right now.
Yeah, but the resources and the brains is in Europe. You catch what I'm saying? The resources and the brains is in Europe because majority of the smart Nigerians are doctors and lawyers and stuff in Europe. They're not going to come back. They're not coming back to Nigeria. They're not coming back to Nigeria and help Nigeria. And that's the problem. And as long as the uneducated one stays in Africa, they're going to keep voting for the same foolishness with the people, even though the voting don't work. But they keep voting for the same people that keeps them down, that don't do nothing. And that's the problem.
They are our modern day slave masters. They are the modern day slave masters. Those leaders that we so-called electing, you know, our modern day slave masters.
Exactly. Exactly.
One thing I've noticed about Africans is that they will say they hate the corrupt leaders, but if you look at their actual behavior towards resources and defending their
yes,
everything, they are just exactly like their leaders. Many
yes,
of them they don't really understand themselves even. Like I hear, like when you're talking to Africans sometimes, they will be telling you, oh, go back, why are you criticizing the West? Why do you live in the West and criticize the West? And all the rest, you hear them say all the time, and I asked them the other day, I said, so you are telling me that it's only Westerners that are capable of going to other countries, decimate it, do whatever they like with the country, and enjoy the privilege, but we as Black people are not allowed to enjoy it. That's basically what you are saying, that we are not allowed to go to.
You know what, to Niger, I hear Europeans in the UK, I hear Europeans criticizing their own people for doing the wrong things than African or Black people are ringing on their show. When I'm at work, I listen to radio because I listen to talk show radio. You can hear Black people calling on the show. They pussyfooting about. They're like, oh, and you hear the white Englishman calling and say, look, our government is wrong. They should be doing this. It's not justified, to these people, or, for example, Israel, what Israel is doing to Palestine, and they hear it, all of a sudden, in Nigeria calling with his Nigerian accent, well, the Muslim terrorists, this and that.
They are not very
It's like tonight. It's like when Buhari came over here to get the Benin sculpture back from the government of Boris Johnson, and you can imagine how hard that is, a right-wing government. Okay, and it was all. Remember, it was during BLM time as well, and everyone is ringing on the show. Why should we give these things back to Nigeria? So we might as well just empty the British Museum and give it to every other country. How is it justified? People are calling, English people are calling on the show and say, look, it's not right. We stole these things. It's the artifact. We rightly we return them back. And then I hear, then I had a woman calling from, a Nigerian woman calling the radio show. I say, look, don't send that back. Nigeria is not a safe country.
Yeah, I just saw a guy was just talking here. A guy was just talking here from Cote d'Ivoire. Who was the guy who was just talking from Cote d'Ivoire? He was just saying about elections. Autotura, his president just signs to go and do another term. So he waited on elections to kick out Autotura, but he already setting himself up to be president again for another term, for a fourth term with France. So he's going to make sure he got another term in Cote d'Ivoire.
Ouattara.
Autora, yeah.
CD, your uncle is still greedy, CD.
No, he's not my uncle.
I think the first step is to get the countries out of the
But you see, that's why I don't believe in.
But that's a coup. That's a coup. When people talk about Traoré, that's a coup. It got democracy coup. And the democracy coup is the democracy coup is the ones like Autotura, the ones in Ivory Coast and Cameroon. Those are coups. Those are democracy coups.
Democratic coup because you are using your office to send
speaking to Ivory Coast. I think he's left now. I wanted to ask him because now Ouattara has given a post to his brother, apparently. So it's most likely that his brother will follow him after he's gone because the man could barely even walk now, and he says
his brother, he made his brother the defense minister and also the vice president. He's the vice president too. So Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Ouattara.
He just created a position,
He was the defense secretary. Now he's the
I never knew that.
People that are doing all this.
He's so banned the opposition, the main opposition that can do him damage. I believe even he's not even in the country.
Titi was the better one. Tijan
Cham. I think he's the one that was a CEO for Credit Suisse.
Yeah,
he a very qualified guy.
I love that guy, man. The Ivorians still love him, man. They still cry for Titi, man.
Right,
and I think he's gonna rule that. He's gonna rule that country one day. I can see that happen.
Wow, no. If Ouattara has his way, it's not gonna happen because he banned him on.
No, but because Titi is very close to the French and the European system. He's been working in their machine for years, and I think he's gonna outsmart Ouattara one day. I can see that happening.
Yeah, but the whole issue is, you know, it
where's
was
TT from? Is he from Burkina Faso as well? Because they tend to come
no.
from.
He got Senegalese background. His mom is Senegalese. That's why they call Cham.
Oh, the
You
Cham,
know,
they're fuller. They
yeah,
what?
yeah,
Is it fuller?
Some
Is
part
it
of
fuller?
him is Ivorian.
Cham.
Some part of him is Ivorian.
But his
Cham
Ofoboy
is
was
fuller.
his grandfather.
Cham is fuller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Bola in Cameroon.
Okay, so he's a.
And
I never knew that.
son now.
So, sorry. Cham grandfather is a footballer.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, it's related to him. Yeah.
his mom. His
Wow.
mom, his mom is from
Wow.
the Bauling, then his dad is Madinka from
Yeah.
Senegal.
Look what's going on.
Yeah.
Look at it, and look what's going on.
But when this guy came, Ofoboy was the one that brought Watra. Watra Mile is not even Ivorian Madinga. He's Ivorian from Madinga from Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
but
when
these guys study in France.
yeah, when he traveled, when he left Burkina Faso as upper voter, he left as a student of Burkina Faso, right?
Yeah, but
So he went.
Let's be told there's something about our people with this born to rule mentality. This is why we get problems with everywhere we go with people. Fuller Mandinka, we have this born to rule mentality that need to stop, man. Honestly, you need to stop.
No, regarding Ouattara claiming to be Ivorian when he was Burkina Faso when he was studying in France, he used the excuse that because the French did have a very easy kind of arrangement with their Burkina Faso at the time that their student can easily move there and study. That is why he used it, but he's really from
but you know the whole TAV. Once you Madinga, I don't carry Liberian passport. I carry Ivorian passport. Because I speak Madinga language, I can go to Senegal and get Senegalese passport. But I possess Senegal passport, right.
Yeah.
So the reason I took Senegal Ivorian passport is it's a very strong passport in West Africa, especially Francophone. So
Senegal,
it's easy for Ivorian passport. I have Ivorian passport. So he Ofoboy saw him as IMF. He was working with World Bank, right? He went to Penn State. So when Ofoboy saw him in Africa at that time, they were in financial trouble. So World Bank recommended Ouattara that you should hire this guy. You know, so he interviewed Ouattara. He said, "Where are you from?" Then he said, "Well, I'm Madinga from Burkina Faso." Then Ofoboy said, "No, it's the same Madinga from over West Africa. Come here, I want you to meet Yimban Prime Minister, so I can get a good relationship with World Bank." That's how he became a prime minister. Right. But then what Ofoboy did in Africa when the president died is the head of the parliament can be president. So he put the BDA as the head of parliament. So when he died, BDA became the president. While Ouattara was the prime minister. He wasn't happy because his whole thing was he wanted to be president. Right. So when BDA left, and then Laurent Gbagbo came. Right. Then he and Babu was fighting until the whole civil war broke out. But because he's pro-West, the French people took sour with him. They fight Babu and got rid of Babu. You know, that's how he became president of Ivory Coast. You know.
Let me ask this question about this thing. Sorry, let me just ask this question. You ask yours. See, we are all happy that I wouldn't say we're all happy. Some people are supporting the Traore and the French and all the stuff they are doing there, but because the Russians are assisting. But how about Central African Republic? The Russians have been helping there for how long now? And that country remains one of the weakest and one of the poorest in the world. What is going on there? Has anyone?
Yeah, that's true. Definitely. That's true. They've been there forever.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you one thing. You see, I hate to say this. Don't take this wrong. But there's something about our people from the far west and the great Mali Empire children. They know how to negotiate with these outsiders. They might not be really that good at it, but they know how to negotiate power a little bit compared to the others. And they know what sovereignty means, and they know the importance of sovereignty. If you look at, the West African region, it's the most sovereign, independent part of the whole continent, where you don't have a lot of outsiders. If you look at from Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to far West Africa, even though this foreign national control our mining and stuff like that, but we are in control in a lot of the sectors and the lands and stuff like that. It's our mindset. But like if you go from that Central African region, to the east, to certain areas, Central Africa, like Cameroon and that part of, Africa, they very, I don't know, they have that docile mentality. They're easily controlled and easily manipulated by outsiders. And I think that's what is playing here. Because Nigerians are very smart people. It's hard to manipulate Nigerians.
But true Niger, if you look at
question to Africa. So going on the point that there's some sovereignty going on on the continent. Why are the majority of countries still in the Commonwealth? Why are they still in the British Commonwealth?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, the Commonwealth, to be honest, the Commonwealth is a membership scheme. I don't think the British, for example, in Sierra Leone, I don't think the British are that so influential when it comes to mining contracts in their country anymore. But we're still part of the Commonwealth. And I think it's more like a moral guarantor, when it comes to elections, and kind of so-called human rights and so on.
I think it goes deeper than that than we like to believe, because if you look at the military in Nigeria, there's a lot of practices that they practice that come down through the Commonwealth. They behave like the British military to an extent, some of their traditions. Culturally, they use it to control the other countries, and because it's so silent, it's hardly noticed because it's under the name.
Like the wigs that we wear.
So are they really sovereign? Are they really sovereign?
We don't have a total sovereignty. No, but the Anglophone have a bit more sovereignty in West Africa than the Francophone.
You can argue that we are sovereign, but our leaders refuse to exercise our sovereignty. That is the problem. Our leaders refuse to exercise it.
Yeah, but through Nigeria, you are asking about Central Africa, right? The way the French people treated Bokassa. Just read about Central Africa. Why?
Yeah,
the French people destroy Central Africa. That's why they want to with the Russians. They
connive with the Russians,
especially the way they treated their president, the late president Bokassa.
Yes. And while the 8 years wipe out the French totally and kick them out, the Central Africa did not do that.
In the Central African Republic, they are just 5 million. Nigeria needs space, and it's a very large land and everything. Maybe we should just go and take over the space. It's just that Cameroon is the land.
This is when this is what I'm going to have an issue with you. You can't even solve it. You want to go and take
Cameroon. I do tonight. I will come help you. Take Cameroon.
Nigerians, you see, this arrangement that they put in nations is crippling Nigerians. The Bantu expansion hasn't stopped. It's still happening. Nigerians are still expanding out of that area, and somehow we're not allowed to take over the countries next to us. Like it's been happening down the edges.
Exactly. So, maybe you should tonight. Do you think you should work with the Northerners and go and take Cameroon?
I think Nigeria should take Cameroon and take They make our way to Ghana just for good measure. They did it.
Well, you want to come and take over Ghana? you get a full destruction of Ghanaians if you trust that.
Turaja, do you think we should work with the Fulani in the Far West and the Mandinka to take Ghana from them? You think we should do that?
I think Africa, you have to get rid of the Ashantis first before you can go that far. You have to get rid of.
Can you imagine Nigeria, the Mandinka and the Fulani come to Ghana and take over?
You see, I can't take Nigeria, but I can take any other African. Nigerians are too dominated.
People love Nigeria. You see, we just need to raise 2 million man army. It's not even barely 1% of our population, and West Africa is ours. And then we just go east a little bit, get to Central Africa.
Deal with the bandits in your background first.
You know, Adamawa State was part of Cameroon. I didn't know that until recently. Adamawa was part of Cameroon, and before Nigeria took it away from them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you would think. I just feel like Nigerian population density is a little bit too high, and it's almost as if these Europeans are clever. They boxed us in. They could have given us more of Niger Republic and more of
No, I think that's that's it. Do you know what? Yeah, if Nigeria was to join the AES, that would be easy, man.
Oh, that would be it. Yeah.
Easy,
That
easy,
would be
easy,
it.
easy, man.
I
I
don't
think
see
that's
that
probably
Nigeria,
gonna have to be.
that's it. Southern Nigeria to start
Nigeria
complaining
will,
with the Islamists and all.
if you join the AES, you're gonna be the head of the AES because of the population, and then you
Yeah,
can
if
naturally
he
take
join
over.
in, the guy is going to shake the entire continent.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Nigeria joins the
Listen,
AES,
to
will shake
Niger,
the entire
Niger,
continent.
to Niger.
No,
Nigeria
V,
can
get
be.
what we do to Niger. You're making V panic tonight. You're not gonna
He's
see
No,
scared.
no, no, I'm not panicking because I know my people. Let me tell you something
He's
about
scared. No,
Ghanaians,
come
yeah?
on. Only Lagos can take over
You
Ghana.
can't
Come
take
on, let's
over
not do
Ghanaian
that.
lands. You can't. So that one is
You
just
guys have
true.
15,000 soldiers, man. Only Lagos, Ajegule. And not even the entire Lagos. Ajegule, they said they will take over Ghana. What are you talking
No,
about?
you can't. So to Niger, don't brag. Don't brag. You can't. I
You
know
know,
Ghanaians, you know. Ghanaians can be
you
very,
know
very
now.
destructive when they want to be, you know. They're calm people, but
I
when
know
it
you
gets
guys can
destructive,
be.
it's
You fought the
dangerous.
Europeans very hard. You fought the Europeans very well. But you have 50,000 soldiers right now. You know that, and they are not even that experienced. They don't
And
fight
one
that
thing
much.
I'll tell you about too, Nigeria, in Ghana, we may not agree. We fight among ourselves. We will say this tribe is that tribe is that. But anybody attempts them, they will come together, fight you. When they finish, and they go back and start being destructive to themselves. That's
Okay.
why we've never had
Anyway,
war.
let me cousin come in. The great child of that great grandson of Usman Danfodio is coming in. Bang! Come on.
Usman Danfodio. You see,
No, not him. Oh no.
I know why you said that, man.
That's a great grandson of Usman Danfodio tonight.
No, not him. No, we don't want him here. He's gonna cause more trouble.
If Nigeria joins AES,
What trouble, my cousin? What trouble, my cousin?
Africa is going to shake his roots. If Nigeria just join AES, let's say there's a coup in Nigeria and they join AES, oh my God, that would be crazy. The entire African
If Nigeria join the AES, it'll be good. It'll be help you help Mali, you connect the northern Nigeria, the south, the southwest, the southeast. I mean, Africa will just shine.
Oh yeah,
I swear, that's what's waiting.
Let me say this, right? Since we talk about getting this country and eliminate this country and stuff like that, right? Because to me, I believe West Africa has too much countries, too many countries in West Africa, right? I would give Togo. Is it Togo or Benin? It's Togo to the Ghanaians. I would give Benin to the Nigerians. For sure.
That food, grandson.
Do you know that Nigeria is the majority in Africa? Why would you give Togo to the Ghanaians? They are supposed to be thinking about giving Ghanaians to us.
It's the same people. The same people in Togo are in Ghana.
The entire Ghana state. Only the Igbo tribe in Nigeria is bigger than the entire Ghana. What are you talking about?
That's true. It's true.
But it's the same people in Togo are in Ghana. So he's right. The same people, same culture, same tribe.
Yeah, they're related. They're more
are in Ghana. Yeah.
In Nigeria is bigger than all of them put together. Only the Igbo tribe in Nigeria is bigger than Togo and Ghana put together.
Yeah, but that's not the point. Big doesn't mean big, is it? Big doesn't mean anything if it's not being effective.
Population-wise. Okay, let's say they give you, because the last thing we need is Ghanaians becoming noisier. They're already noisy.
I agree with Bang. Togo, Burkina, and Ivoria should join together with Ghana because they are all the same people within that area. Language,
I won't say Ivory Coast belong to the Mano River Union. That means they belong to Sierra Leone.
Their kind side should join Ghana.
No. I know Ivory Coast belong to the Mano River Union. They belong to Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea.
Don't worry about that, man.
That's where they belong.
Nah, that's not possible.
No, they do.
They do.
Ivory Coast is Mano River County.
Sierra Leone and Liberia should join with Guinea. That's where they should go. Guinea.
and Ivory Coast. The rivers. The rivers will not let you, Vina. That's what I'm saying. If you know the region very well, it's what we call the Mano River Union.
There's huge people in there with the same tradition.
Yeah, I agree, but they still reach other people of the other side. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
No, it don't matter to me. You can't have as many countries in West Africa. It doesn't make no sense. Make no sense.
Yeah, some of them are benefit us. Countries, you know.
Gambia. So I would come to
I know.
Like Guinea, right? I would take Liberia and hand it to Guinea. I would take Sierra Leone and hand it to Guinea. I would take Guinea-Bissau and hand it to Guinea. I would take Gambia and hand it to Senegal. That's what I would do.
Guinea, Senegal. Too.
No.
I think from Senegambia, I would say from Senegambia to Mali to Niger Republic to Nigeria.
Gambia belongs to Senegal. That's obvious.
Senegal, yeah.
Yes. But Guinea-Bissau, I would give it to Guinea. Sierra Leone.
Yeah, that's what used to be Guinea.
Liberia, I would give it to Guinea. You understand me, right? That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Some of these countries,
and Ivory Coast,
they have to go.
The only listen,
okay, and Bang, when you make all these changes, what would be the national language of this newly created area?
They be Niger Congo. The thing is the Niger Congo group. Okay. Good question, sir. In Ivory Coast, majority of the languages they speak, the Mandinka is in Niger Congo, the Fula is in Niger Congo, the Akan, if I'm not mistaken, is in Niger Congo, the Bambara is Niger Congo. You see all these tribes that you mentioned, they're all Niger Congo people. They all, in fact, the only tribe in Nigeria that's not Niger Congo is the Hausa. The Igbo is Niger Congo. The Ijo is Niger Congo. The Yoruba is Niger Benue. That's a different language. So that will be a problem. So I think the Niger Congo family should build one country in West Africa and just call it Niger Congo. That's it. Simple as that.
Niger, let me ask you this: is there a tribe in Nigeria called Wangara?
Oh, they're in Niger. They're in Niger. They're in Niger. They're in Niger. Wangala. They're in Niger.
Yeah, they speak Mandinka. They speak Mandinka. I understand their language.
Yeah, they're Manding people.
Yeah,
people on
Wangara.
City.
Yeah,
there are a lot of Manding people in Northern Nigeria.
Yeah, I was shocked. Yeah,
there are a lot of Manding people in Northern Nigeria. Yeah, a lot of them in Northern Nigeria. Even some of the Yoruba people out there. Some of the Yoruba people mix with Mandinka. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Nigeria. See, if there was going to be a black Mecca in Africa, it's going to be Nigeria. I can assure you.
Yeah.
Because almost every group, the Bantoid group is there. Like now, I didn't even know about the Mending group in the Nigerian area. The Afro-Asiatic group are there. The Niger community, just all kinds of mishmash of people in that territory. And it's the most populated area in this Black Africa. So and
it's the biggest gene pool in the world, isn't it? In Niger.
Pardon?
Yeah, it's the biggest gene pool in the world, isn't it? Nigeria.
Yeah. That's why I've always argued that the Bantu expansion is still happening. This is why you guys are complaining about Nigerians everywhere, because that area often has net migration. Because in other words, more people leave that area than come in because of the population density compared to other areas of Africa. And I feel like it's not fair for Nigeria to be locked in when all the nations around it have such low population density. It doesn't seem right. They need to figure out a way to expand that.
But to Niger, how is it the other country's problem though? Do you know Mali is bigger than Nigeria by size, right? Do you know that, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. There's very few people in that country, and they have so much space.
How's it a problem of Guinea where you guys are making babies like crazy?
Exactly.
It's not our fault. It's just the water.
Well, you guys are making babies like crazy.
What do you mean? You see,
Ivory Coast.
Oh God, you are blaming the people.
No, Mali is a desert country, more of a desert. It's not like
Mali's not a desert country, even though Mali does have desert.
That's what I'm telling you. Majority of the land is covered by desert.
Nigeria has desert too.
I know, but I'm saying that Mali, the reason Mali is big is because of the desert part of the country.
You see, Nigeria has these rivers that is said to be even richer than that of the River Nile. The River Niger and the River Benue, they come and meet in the middle of Nigeria. That's why you see that Y shape in Nigeria. And that's why you shouldn't be surprised to see that place has so much life, because about 3 rivers meet in the middle of Nigeria and cut straight to the Atlantic Ocean. So all around that river, there is civilizations and peoples living around those areas.
Let me give my thoughts on this case, right? This situation that happened with in South Africa, right? When Julius Malema was doing this thing, the first time I heard him, I was like, wow, this guy is very inspiring. Like you could feel his intense. You understand me, right? You could feel his passion. So and everything. Then I started listening to him and everything, right? I'm like, okay, because during that time I barely don't know about South Africa, because Africa is massive. Africa is huge. massive huge. Then this is what I would compare to Julius Malema, right? If it wasn't for African Stream, because I remember when Ibrahim Traore did a coup, right? All the updates, everything was happening at that time, at that specific time, right? We were getting our news directly from African Stream. African Stream gave us so much update, everything, and at the same time, people, that has idea of revolution, supported Abraham Traore. Everybody was tweeting about it. Everybody was looking at the videos, and then African Stream had somebody that was on the ground reported live as well. And then later on, after a year or two, eventually African Stream got shut down, right? But to me, the mission that the ideology of African Stream, right? They did achieve it, like it or not. Because to me, without African Stream, you wouldn't had this like Burkina Faso and Niger. Because I remember during that time when Niger did a coup to all this back and forth, the real report, we were getting it from African Stream. And then also when the French ambassador did not want to leave, I was getting the news and the footage from African Stream as well. So when you look at it, right, to me, Julius Malema, he's similar to African Stream, regardless or not. Because I truly believe eventually, one of these days, the Black South Africans are going to wake up. But you see how African Stream established the AES, and you see how the AES is slowly coming together, right? At the end of the day, if you truly care about freedom and so-called right development, right? There's somewhere and somehow you could agree to these people, but there's no African Stream no more. But African Stream did what they're supposed to do.
Hey, guys, I gotta read this super chat and we gotta close out. Crenshaw Grader 4725, thank you for $20 holla. Africans must develop and cherish their human capital. Natural resources are meaningless, and a curse without a technical education revolution of the collective. Everyone, thanks so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Search for Huru. Peace.